Okay. Are we here? Are we live? This is what happens when you try to do something by yourself. Well, it looks like everybody has Connie on the brain tonight. And I think one of the reasons I'm upset right now is I recently did a rewatch on the Lawless panel. And because of that, I now feel that this was always the inevitable and logical result of Connie, where we are right now. Because it was already starting even then. I want to let it be known, especially since we have a community drunk who seems to think I suicide troll Connie and that I won't be happy until he does something to hurt himself. I think it's important that you know that that's not the truth at all. I've never told him to off himself. I've never told him to hurt himself. I've never told him that he deserved to die. I've never wished bodily harm on him. And just because I'm not going to close my eyes and pat his ass page and pretend that what he does on the daily is okay, that doesn't mean I'm suicide trolling him. No, Sugar Crits, and I won't. Because I don't think he should hurt himself. I mean, one of the reasons that I have been a lot more vocal in recent months, because Connie, contrary to what you think, I've been watching you since you came here, since Kate brought you into this. And I don't understand. I don't understand why you think it is our job to make your e-begging easy on you. Well, there's corrosive. Glad you could make it. And I'm glad everybody is here. I am probably not going to be the most gifted at this. And you're out. Goodbye, Prime. I have not made a lot of mods yet, but those that I do, I mean, if they start throwing down first names and stuff like that, get rid of them. Other than that, I don't care. If Connie wants to come in here and make comments and try to talk to me from chat because he's too much of a bitch to come up on panel, then let him. Because that's the thing. He is a bitch. He makes these posts. He makes these live streams. Open panel. Open panel. It's not an open panel, you little spurg. It's not an open panel unless you're letting people up. An open panel doesn't mean you ask some sort of structured question and then drop them when the answer is not what you want to hear. But that's the problem with you, Rebel. All your life, you have had women in your ear telling you what you want to hear. You've had your mother telling you that Herr Costa can be an actor if he wants, when nothing could be further from the truth. Maybe it sounds harsh, but there's just a lot of factors that go into an entertainment career, and there's a lot of things that you don't have. Even if we were not going to touch on the talent issue, if we were not going to touch on that, we're going to talk about the fact that you are not marketable. Connie, you're not marketable. E-begging on the internet for weed and cigarettes every day is not marketable. Nobody is going to be inspired to want to watch that on TV or on YouTube, and they're not going to be entertained by that. They also are not entertained by a woe is me mentality, and that's what you have in spades. How do I know this? Because I've spent a great deal of my life with a woe is me mentality. You have no corner on suffering. You don't. You're not the first person to lose your home, to lose everything you have. You're not. You have to pick yourself up. You have to go on. You have to find a way to do it. And it sucks. Being an adult sucks. I told my kids when they were teenagers, enjoy this. Enjoy this. Because in 10 years, you're going to wish you didn't have to. But here you are, some 15 years after high school, Connie, and you still act like it is your junior year, it is summer vacation, and you don't have anything better to do but to smoke weed and play video games all day, every day. So I think everybody should have an opportunity to talk about it. We tried not talking about him. We tried not live streaming him. We've tried to choke him to death in terms of donations. Not figuratively, nobody's put a hand around his throat. And here he is still. All right, you're out, Prime. Get Corrosive's wife out of your mouth. Such a piece of shit anyway. Anyway, hi to everybody that I have missed. Boss Bitch, Six Banga, Sugar Crits, Adjust Your Focus. Thank you for coming in. The Connie Blues doing the Lord's work, keeping Rebel triggered. Maddie LSM. Joe Samuel, thank you for coming by. Bones, it's not all about you, my guy. CC, thank you for coming. John Golf, what up? Steph, thanks for coming. This is a little weird for me. I'm not much of a, live stream talker, so it's a little odd. Richard Cheese. Wendy O. And let's see, I'm going to pin the link. And you'll also have to forgive me that how do you pin the link? Are you going to come up here or not, Corrosive? Dork. Oh, he found out I'm live. Huh? Oh, you're eating. Thanks, Steph. I appreciate that. You know what? You are probably right. Maybe we should talk about what has Connie so triggered. It seems that Connie decided to go over my community posts from this morning. So I tagged him and I posted this morning. It says, "Stay tuned, Connie. You didn't want to answer tough questions honestly. You just wanted to play drop from the panel games." Maybe you should listen to this, Connie, because you could barely even stammer through this. Your reading sucks so bad. So you didn't want to answer tough questions honestly. You just wanted to play drop from the panel games. Fine. For all that you claim to be a grown man, you're not. Grown men aren't terrified of petite blonde grandmothers from Texas. They aren't terrified of the questions they pose. Grown men would answer me calmly and rationally, honestly. You are still a child. You still drink juice boxes, for fuck's sake. Your palate has clearly never left adolescence along with your mindset. I have told you that this community is done helping you smoke like a rapper on someone else's dime. You have a handful of people who give you money from time to time, not enough to make things comfortable, but it's crueler than any of the rest of us who have never given you a dime. Why is it so cruel, Connie? Because it gives you hope. Every time you make some puny, petty ass dono goal you've set, you have hope in you that you won't have to go get a job. It's also cruel because literally no one gives you money because they honestly support you, because they like you, because they find your entertainment and content to be superior. It's because you're a pawn in their community drama and they are using you. Ponder that the next time you head to the dispensary with donos. Sucky thing to be a junkie though, because junkies don't care as long as they get their fix. Okay. Yeah, it was very me. I admit, I like being the Karen and Connie's craw. I'm not even going to lie about that. I'm not sure who is either. So, Connie triggered. I'm not listening to him, so I wouldn't know. I have somebody backstage, and it's probably, is it a real Rada or is it a fake Rada? Hmm. Is it a real Rada or a fake Rada? Hello. I bet it's not. I bet it's Prime pretending to be Rada. He's fond of coming up with one of Rada's avatars, and I think that is an old avatar, if I'm honest. Community coordinator, you were already convinced. Make no mistake, I saw you over in Katie's, so stop running. Well, I had, I'm trying to, there it is. Ah.
What in the actual Funkenstein is this?
Oh, it's the real Rada. Okay.
It's the real me. I couldn't answer you because I was still backstage.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I have never done this before, so I'm self.
No, you're doing a great job.
Like I do with everything.
Right. No, is this your actual first live?
Yes.
So I'm like your first live panel guest?
Yeah, Rada. Actually,
man, I am really a panel who, huh? Damn. I'm driving, so
oh, you're driving.
It's safer for me. Yeah. Even though I need an excuse to be a panel who, but yeah.
So, I mean, I think people are a little curious as to why I have kind of gotten involved in the Connie business, because for a long time I was very quiet about him. And some of my friends in Discord do know some things about me. They know that I raised a child with schizophrenia. And I have had to listen to this man-child mock mental illness.
Holy shit.
So, whenever I hear him talk about how he can't get a job, I just want to scream, because my daughter has schizophrenia, and she is going to be on medication for the rest of her life, and it's not something that is ever going to go away. And even she is 25, and she is going to school. And of course, my daughter is married. She's a mom, so she's doing everything while raising my granddaughter.
Good for her.
So she's going to school part-time. She wants to be a radiology tech, and she has hope that someday she'll be well enough to work at least part-time and make her life better for her and her husband and their daughter. So this notion that Connie can't, because he has mental illness, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. He's never even really made an honest effort to treat himself. Just a second. Looks like I've got somebody.
Oh, I don't like to share.
I'm sure that's you don't.
Oh, speaking of radiology x-ray, did you see my first x-ray that I took? My first x-ray picture?
No.
Yeah, you probably don't want to see it. Alex V has it. She keeps on showing everybody, so we'll forget I even said that. But yeah, you attend to whoever's backstage.
It's me. I'm probably not going to
Okay.
plug on.
Oh, it's this
All
guy. How
right.
you doing?
I'm
That's
good.
Quick Quiver.
I'm here to rain on your parade.
Hell yeah. That's what most people do.
So here's the thing I'll never understand. Like months and months and months ago, probably a year ago now, Corrosive big thing was ignore them,
Right.
stop watching them, right? But clearly you guys aren't doing that. Like Katie
Uh,
goes live to talk solely about Connie, and there's 80 people there. And Richard
right.
Cheese goes live and there's 50 people there. And you
Right.
guys are like able to tell what Connie did in a day down to what kind of coffee cup he uses. Like you guys are a bit obsessed with the dude. You know what I'm saying? You're a bit
Are you playing
obsessed.
devil's advocate or are you like serious?
I'm
Can't tell.
100% serious. I don't watch the
Oh
dude
boy.
for 2 minutes.
Can I get
Like I
credit that I don't base my content on Connie? Can I get a little credit
you
with
do
that?
not Rod. You do not Rod.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
But I
Little
don't
pat on the back.
I can't even get. I mean, I get some of it's funny,
It is.
but I don't get retard trolling. Like I don't understand it. The kid is clearly not right, and it seems like and people will be in chats and stuff
Now,
and poke and poke and poke until
quick.
he flips out, and then they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he's flipping out."
Okay, quick. In all fairness, when you said that, I don't get retard trolling. When you said that,
I don't like
all
that
I
word.
could think of is all the times I have told you over the years that your brand of trolling is very much your mileage may vary with me. I
Yes.
love you as a person, but sometimes your method of trolling falls flat with me.
For sure. For sure.
So maybe that's something I don't understand about you and you don't understand about me or Corrosive or anybody else that is trolling Connie. Just a second. It looks like Corrosive's in my basement.
Ugh.
Elizabeth,
Again?
what I'm saying is I
Oh,
don't
sorry.
think I don't think what you're doing is trolling there. You seem to legitimately care. Like you have
She
like a
does. Of
legitimate
course she
care.
cares.
And it's
Hello.
what
I bet
it's
she
what
really
I don't
does.
I guess that's
Okay.
what I don't get. I don't
I
understand.
I think it's because it affects her personally because of the situation that she just talked about and how
I just talked about why. Quick Quiver. I
right.
just talked about why it is personal for me, and it's not just on behalf of my child. It's on behalf of myself. Look, okay, let me cam up again.
Oh boy. Don't do it. They'll use it against you.
No, I don't care. I cam up all the time. I'm not ashamed. Okay.
You're very pretty, by the way. You're not AYB pretty, but you're very pretty.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. It cannot
Does that
be
work?
lost. It cannot be lost on most of you that over the past year, I have lost a lot of weight.
You know who else lost a lot of weight and looks good now? Amanda Erickson. No, I'm kidding. She didn't lose a fucking. Sorry. Bad joke. Go ahead. Sorry.
But
That's my opinion.
okay, so and one of the reasons I did was because I made changes to my psych regimen because I have a mental illness. Because I spent 5 years of my life mired in mental illness. Because I know what it's like to feel that sort of pity for myself. Because I know what it's like to want to stay in bed and stare at a wall. Mental illness is rarely ever that iconic picture of the pill bottle falling out of somebody's hand or even a gun or a note. Mental illness is bills you can't pay because you can't work. It is dishes piling up in the sink because you can't get motivated to do the housework.
But imagine Elizabeth, imagine while you were going through that, people were using your dead grandma on fart pillows, and they were sending shit to your house, and they were constantly in chats looking for every button that they could push
But
to antagonize you, to get you to go to a place and lose your composure. I mean, how much
but
I'm not sticking up for Rebel, but I'm saying at some point, if you take someone who's a little mentally challenged and you just keep poking the fuck out of him, he's gonna pop off, and then everyone can laugh, and it's a big joke. You know what I mean? Like,
Of course it is. He's a lolcow at this point.
yeah.
right.
But people,
I mean, Liz is not an
Just-
asshole. I mean,
I don't think
Rebel
you're
is,
an asshole. I think what I think
but
is
Rebel
that
is. That's the difference. Like Liz doesn't come online and like threaten people's families and threaten to call their jobs or
All right, talk.
threaten their
Who are
family
you?
members.
You're all
that
faggots.
Talk
Let me
Lounge?
explain why. Stop
Prime.
letting
Yeah.
them win.
There we
Stop
go.
letting Rebel win.
Here comes Prime.
Bye, Prime.
Speaking of her,
And
Where's
that
ours?
is the real Glenn Lambright. I think. Just a second.
Hello,
All
Liz.
right.
that's him.
Hi.
How you doing?
What's up, Glenn?
Hello, Elizabeth. Hello, Water.
Hey, Glenn.
Hey, y'all know that Glenn the Jackrabbit Lambright? I've been looking for him. I want to kick his ass so bad because he made me mad.
He
Damn it,
makes us all
Connie,
mad.
give me my Glenn the Jackrabbit so I can kick his ass.
Welcome to the panel, staff.
Thanks, Liz.
Steph now?
Steph. I miss you,
I only have a
Steph.
second, so don't panic.
So close the hill.
Hi,
everybody.
Steph.
Hi.
Are you here to yell at me,
love
Steph?
Jeez, guys. I just
Steph
wanted
is
to
my
make
favorite.
the point, quick quiver. Like, don't confuse like Liz engages with Rebel, but she doesn't troll him like the real trolls or go after him. However, he will respond to her over the top, and he'll treat her like she has. And
No,
I think
for
once
sure.
he makes a target out of you, you're able to respond to him without considering it trolling or just like, because Rebel's not the can't get out of the bed depressed. That's not what he is.
Right.
He gets out of bed just fine. You motivate him with a little weed and he'll drive across town.
No, for sure. He's motivated.
We'll move mountains for weed.
He's definitely not a lay in bed guy. I mean, he's got to be online. He's got to have people paying attention to him. He doesn't care if it's bad or good. But and I'm not saying what Liz is doing is wrong. Well, you guys can do whatever you want. I don't understand.
I wouldn't put it on the same. I wouldn't compare it to Rebel getting trolled.
Oh, I mean, I had Paige over in Katie's chat basically accuse me of suicide trolling him, and that is just not
Which
true.
is insane.
I don't think you're trying to suicide troll him, but I think there's
People
a large
have.
portion of people here that would love nothing more than for him to harm himself in some way.
Oh, yeah. I think Brett is 100% serious when he says, I will keep doing this until you leave or you end it, and I prefer that you end it. And he's clear about what he means. But he is the exception, not the rule.
I think most people...
Yeah.
I'm
and
not
that's
saying...
not Liz, for fuck's sakes.
No, it's not Liz at all.
Right.
But I'm not saying that everybody wants him to end it. I'm saying that... But they wouldn't be mad if he went out and started punching himself in the face in the middle of the yard and had a complete mental breakdown.
Frankly, we'd rather the racist hog punches him in the face.
Okay, you want the truth? I don't want him physically harmed. I want him to break down in a bucket of tears like I did 6 years ago and realize
that's what he needs.
Everything that has happened and what your role in everything that happens has been, because that's what I had to go through.
That might be what he needs.
I mean, of course, you and I've had so many conversations about this. So many.
Yes, we have.
And he has to be broken to the point that he realizes that there are no other options for himself.
Do you know how to do that?
And I'm not saying I'm going to break him. I am going to say that he has to run out of options.
Do you know how you run him out of options, though?
Of these, okay.
I think the courts are about to.
You don't run them out of
Every time.
options the way you're
Hey, I'll
doing
be
it.
right back. Thanks for having me up.
The way you run them out of
You're
options
welcome. Thanks
is
for coming.
when he can log in and he can go over and see Richard Cheese live with 50 people and the chat popping, he sees that as he's creating that content. He thinks that he's super popular and that whatever. And quite frankly, he is. If somebody can replay his stuff and there's 70 people watching it without adding
Well,
any content to it,
some days. Some
you
days he thinks he is. Other days he considers it a targeted attack.
I think
it's
he says it's
terrorism.
a target.
Literal terrorism.
I think he says it's a targeted attack, but I think at the end of the day, he honestly believes that there's 100 people watching him in Discord and that whatever's on Richard Cheese and that he's super popular and he's on the verge of breaking out. He's not sane.
No, yeah, he's as
Sorry
sane
about
as
that.
most other people here. Believe
Exile,
me.
is that
Yeah, he
actually
watches.
you? Is that actually you, Exile?
Boo-hoo, what was
So
me,
it's
Liz?
that
Don't
one.
It's fucking prom again.
Oh my
Hey,
god.
don't forget, Connie lost his balls.
Again, we're using the same bit that's been used for the last 5 years, and the only person it entertains is himself.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best way to end Connie's run on the internet is to ignore him.
I think
Krosov, you were right 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Okay,
well, and then
look,
when I started,
it-
hold on. When I started ignoring him, that's when my pictures started showing up on his stream, and he started using my full name
Yep.
and my wife's full name and saying all the shit he says. It's easier to corral and wrangle this little fucking retard than it is to ignore him because he wants attention so bad that instead of sitting there and doing the funny thing that he's doing now, he gets actually dangerous if you ignore him. And the other thing that he hasn't gotten through his thick fucking skull yet is if he just opened up his chat, everybody would go chat in his chat. They'd sit there just like they did with Emo. But he can't. He can't abide anybody not agreeing with him, which is why Andrew's restreams exist, which is why Richard's restreams exist. Because he locks his chat down. You come in and you go hi, and he goes, "Whoop, hold on, got to get rid of you and you
No, I
and
get-
you and
Yep.
you."
I totally get that, but I watched Emo's chat, and it wasn't people going in there. Yes, did they get crazy? Yes. Or were there people who were shot just for being in Andrew's chat after time? Yes. But at first, it was people who earned their. I mean, people would go in there and say, basically push and push and push until he popped off, and then
Okay.
you know.
Okay, first, I'm somebody, and of course, I'm not saying nobody else here was. I'm somebody who was there from the time Kate brought him in over here and said, "Hey, this is Costa. He's Rebel City Sports. Here's his channel. Go watch."
Krosov was his
once
channel the
it was
one I
clear-
said. Oh, sorry.
Once it was clear what kind of there's always, especially with the male panel hosts, there's always some hazing in the form of porn bombs for male panel hosts.
And females.
Females, yeah, but especially among you guys, okay?
I don't.
And instead of taking it in stride and going, okay, well, next time I'll put up an overlay, he did a Connie.
I'm gonna say, God, Connie's famous line. Give me money now.
Well, that was his whole goal, right? I mean, so to address this and the Connie Blues in chat, if you're talking about Kate, he didn't follow Kate as much as Kate tried to set up. Oh no, she's talking about something else. No, but yeah, I mean, when he started, he thought he was going to do a serious politics show, and when that didn't work immediately, he just devolved into exactly what he was doing on Facebook Live, which was begging.
Is he the channel, Krosov, that I went up and said that Kate Peters was in Antifa? Was that
Yes,
him?
that's the channel where you invented Antifa. That was his politics channel when we were all using socks and up there having fun, and he just couldn't really handle it because he got so serious about this shit. You can't take this that seriously. You just can't.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
see, that's the other thing. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but this is something I have been wanting to say for a while and touch on about Connie, because he not only does he not take those type of trolls in stride, the harmless ones. He spurgs out. He screams. He yells. He threatens. He never wanted to be one of us.
I mean, we tried like
he was never
hell.
interested
sorry, Liz.
in. He was never interested in any of us. Everything always had to be about Connie. It's like him luring us to that panel, making us think it was going to be about Sarah, and it was Connie as usual.
I mean, we tried like hell. You, me, Quick Quiver, a couple of other people tried like hell to make his show entertaining. But he just wouldn't have it because he thought his third show, he was going to be Crowder and people were going to be buying his mugs and hanging off of his every political take word. And he doesn't know anything about politics.
Yeah, but
So,
he
I mean-
always goes back to the same thing. Rebel has to scream that he's a victim for the one or two people who will believe it and jump into his Cash App and his PayPal.
Yep.
But
There
don't,
has been
now he's got
dozens of people who have tried.
But
now
don't
he's
you
got Purple
guys-
Sky.
don't you guys agree that to a certain extent, whether you like it or not, it's working?
It does,
gets-
but okay.
It's
And
working.
I'll bring
he
up
gets money.
Candace
He
for an
gets
example.
views.
God rest her soul. It works for a little bit. And then they just end up on the Connie hater list because it ends the same way it always ends. Connie, like, all she ever wanted was for him to do something with his show. Was for him to do something. He can't. He won't. He'll always play the victim. And so it goes right back. And she ends up on the other side because he lied to her and he made her think that he was going to change or do something with his life and filled her head with all these grander ideas. And then he just ends up staying rebel.
Glenn, you're echoing, buddy.
Yeah.
Pat,
Sure,
I'm
me,
gonna
I ain't
shut-
said nothing.
No, we're
want-
getting other people. Well, Steph was echoing real bad through your mic.
Am I echoing now?
No, whatever it is, it's
Okay.
I'm going to put Pat's statement up here. I don't get why she's emotionally invested with Connie as opposed to ignoring him. He did something I can't ignore. I'm sorry. And if I sound triggered, yeah, maybe a little bit.
You're
It's
not the
about-
first, and you won't be the last.
It's about a topic that is deeply personal to me, that has touched my life, that has touched the life of my oldest child. And it is personal. It is personal for him to mock the suffering of people with mental illness in such a way and use it as some sort of crutch, an excuse to not get up off his lazy, unmotivated fucking ass and get a job.
And that's what it is. You can tell he's never been diagnosed with any of the shit he repeats, or he'd have the terminology somewhat close to right. He doesn't. He just like everything else, he takes little bits of what he sees other people going through and tries to apply it to himself. And he basically imitates them and hopes that he's going to get sympathy for it. Like, no, dude, you were alive on your stream the other day and you said, I would do anything to protect my mom. I'd give anything. Yeah, except your free time, because you won't get a fucking job and help pay the rent.
And once you're in the Connie sphere, once he has said your name aloud, you can ignore him for months. You could even buddy troll him and play his buddy, and he will always bring your name up. It doesn't matter how long you ignore him. He'll always do the same thing.
Especially if you have a channel and you have a following.
Especially.
He's going to bring, I mean, he went after Hello Starlight once, right? For no apparent reason other than she had a bunch of people that followed her.
Yeah, he calls them all the menopausal housewives or something now because they
Which
have
he
their
stole
own
from
thing.
somebody else.
But they have their own thing. They get views. They have fun in their panels, and for some reason, they don't have to block everyone in their chat. And he sees this, and I don't think he understands why it happens. I think he sees a stream like mine or Brett's or Steph's or any of ours, and he just doesn't get why it happens, how we can let people up on panels. We can even disagree with each other, but it doesn't end up with accusing each other of terrorism. He doesn't get it.
There are a lot of people on YouTube that don't have jobs and that get lots of money in donations or just flat out money that you guys don't seem to care about. Why?
Wait, hold
why
on, Chris.
is he so
Are there
different?
other people on YouTube that have never worked a job? Ever?
I don't know. I don't pay that much attention to it, but I
Okay,
just know
well,
that
I look at a Rebel in his early 30s, and he's never been employed. He's never had a boss. He's never had to put his fucking head down and do something because someone told you to. Like it builds character. It does. It changes who
Well,
you
for
are.
sure.
And he
Don't-
doesn't have that. And if he wasn't
He-
online screaming and begging for money, people would probably never bring it up.
Well,
So,
my
don't get me wrong.
Hold on.
Oh,
Pay
sorry.
me or
Sorry.
I'm going to
Go,
dox
go,
you, Quick
go.
Quiver. Pay me or I'm going to dox your entire family line.
Here's my problem.
That's what
with
he
it, Quick
does.
Quiver.
You
Yeah, well,
should have
that's
paid
part
me
of it.
that $100, DFK. I'm gonna sub all my socks. You're never gonna have 1,000 subs as long as you don't pay me.
Yeah, the other problem is some of those other people. Now, normally I avoid the grifting hobos of YouTube, but a lot of the people out there that are on hard times and need money right now for something, they spend that money on the thing they're asking for. They don't continually tell the same sob story. I need to get my tires fixed. I need to get my tires fixed. All right, I'll fix your tires for you. I'll send the money to the tire place. Fuck you. I don't want your fucking money. You send me cash.
You're putting
He's
my
not
life in
begging.
danger.
Yeah, he's not begging for any of the shit that he thinks he needs. He wants weed and smokes. That's what he's begging for. He keeps putting out the sob story of his car falling apart and his poor old addle-pated cheese hog racist bitch of a mother needing your assistance, and all he's spending it on is weed and smokes.
All right, real quick.
no,
Thanks for having me up, Liz. I got to hop down.
Thank you for
I'll be
All right.
listening. Enjoy the rest of the stream, guys. It's nice talking to you, Quick.
It was nice
Bye.
talking to you again. Bye.
Bye.
I hope I'm not coming off wrong. I am not defending Connie in any way, shape, or form. I don't think he's cool. I don't think what he's doing is right or good. I'm saying that I don't understand why he doesn't go live with 4 people in the chat and nobody's paying any attention to him whatsoever. I don't understand why people care so much. And if
Because
he
he's
even
the community
Crosov,
pet.
let's say that's it, and that's what I'm getting at is he's a toy that everyone's pretending
Not for
to
me.
be
Not for
so
me.
upset about.
Not for me.
Well, no, I don't think he's a toy for a lot of people. I don't think he's a toy. I think there are a lot of people that are actually and honestly emotionally invested in Rebel, either pro, like Sweet, who uses him as a tool whenever she can, or con, which is a lot of other people who have a visceral reaction to him because of what he has done to people. Now, we could argue until the cows come home as to whether that's a rational thing to feel or not, but it doesn't matter because we're not in those people's heads. But there are people who, when Connie did what he did to Sarah, went, yep, that's it. It is my job to make life on YouTube a living hell because of what he did to One Hot Gal or what he did to Rosie Wren or what he did to, and that the list is almost as long as my arm of people that he has used and then tried to destroy when they were no longer of any use to him. And
it's
that's
not
why
fair.
there are people who will watch him regardless.
You know,
So it's-
okay. All right. So when the thing is, Quick Quiver, for me, it's not a game. It's he's not a pet. He's not a toy. I ignored him for a long time because honestly, I did feel a little pity for him. I didn't want to just torture him all the time. And yeah, the whole mental illness thing, it set me off. It did. But I'm going to tell you something quick. My daughter has schizophrenia. She is the sickest person off her meds that I have ever seen that didn't need to be locked up forever. The fact that she found a miracle in a pharmaceutical medication that has let her have the full life and become a mom and wife is a miracle. It is a absolute miracle. But let me tell you now that if my daughter went on panels acting the way Connie did, went on the internet, on YouTube, using YouTube as her street corner on which to panhandle, I'd find a way to spank her ass.
And that's because, Elizabeth, that she grew up in a strong family with a strong, caring, loving mother that was there, that was always there for her. Connie doesn't have that. He is
had
a
a
blind.
mother that loved heroin more than him.
He's blind. He's blind. He's being led by blind people, and he has very little chance. So, the fact that he is the way he is, I get it. It's fun for people, not you, but there are plenty of people who are having fun watching it. There are plenty of people who, can you imagine if somebody you liked had their mom or their son or their brother or sister or whatever had a fart pillow made after someone that they loved that died, you guys would be fucking furious. Furious.
No, no, not even my mother. And I mean, you know what? People could say whatever they want to about my mother, because people in this community cannot hurt me about my mother than her death has already hurt me.
It's not just the cushion box, but it's everything. It's pictures of her behind them, whatever. And I don't know how that's not going to trigger 90% of you.
Okay, so how about all the photos of people with their eyes cut out and shit?
That's why that's why ignore him. That's why you just he's getting exactly what he wants. Good publicity or bad publicity. He doesn't care. All he wants is his name out there. And people say his name all day long. That's all he really wants. He
I
doesn't
don't
care if
think
it's
so.
good or bad.
I don't really think so. I think he is genuinely triggered. Quiver, I really do.
Oh no, he's triggered. He's triggered for sure.
Look at that picture.
And if he's
John
this
Paul.
triggered, if he's this triggered almost a month out from his court case, imagine what the end of the month is going to be like.
Oh no, it's going to be terrible.
But see, here's the thing,
Uh-oh.
Quiver. I think you have some sympathy for him. I have none. I don't want to see anybody go to his house and
It's
mess
really
with
me.
him. I don't want to see him get his ass kicked. But I do want to see the full fucking weight of the law come down on him. I want to see him lose his shit in court again, because he has convinced himself that this is all somebody else's fault. Enough people have tried to explain this to him, and he just calls them, oh, you're sucking Tonic's cock. You're one of Andrew's mob, blah, 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 blah. And his mom barges in and says, "Did they give us any weed yet, Costa?" And it's just, he's been given every tool. He's been shown every part of it. He doesn't have the mental illness that he keeps claiming he has. What he has is a gigantic case of the fucking lazies and the complete inability to shut his mouth for 4 hours at a time.
I don't get I don't get the dissonance of between the two things that you're saying. The dude is clearly not mentally stable. Clearly not mentally there. Is he a window licker? Of course not. But he is clearly not all together.
He's more mentally stable than dozens of fucking people I worked
There's
with.
somebody with Rada's avatar on panel, but it's not the
Using
same
your
one
kids
Rada
for
was-
emotional manipulation. You're disgusting, Liz.
I'm glad. I'm really happy that we can act that this is like the first time that I've heard an actual conversation about this that's not one-sided. You know what I'm saying? Not everyone just attacking.
Right. All right. Can I say something real quick? So I agree with Liz about the whole mental illness thing. So you keep mentioning it's not a fart pillow, it's a seat cushion that was made for somebody that asked it for it. I totally get it. That's why when he asked me to stop, I stopped. Now, here's the thing about ignoring him. That's what I did. Once he asked me to stop, I ignored him. And then what happened is then for 18 hours, he had my docs up on his screen threatening to murder me and my children. So, I mean, you can ignore him all you want, but if he gets it in his brain with like the tinfoil hat thing, you're going to get doxxed, you're going to get threatened and all that stuff. Now I'm going to go to something else. You posted someone's comment, Liz, about if he's depressed, he wouldn't be on YouTube all the time. That's totally not true. First of all, depressed people sit down on the couch all day or whatever. And what do you think that people on YouTube are doing? They're not running around their house, typically on panels, or doing that, like running around. They're sitting on their couch. I can tell you.
Yeah, but there's sitting in chats and there's going live, and also let's remember.
Hold on. I want to. Let me just finish my thought process here, because I am a stoner and I will forget. So,
okay.
From personal experience. So I don't know who has watched what live, Jessica S is saying CPTSD. Absolutely. So I don't know who's watched my lives lately, but I have talked about my recent episode with my own mental health. I ended up sectioning myself. The entire, I don't, you guys obviously remember the days when I was like streaming every day. I was in like a full blown mental breakdown, depression. So I ended up sectioning myself, getting the help I needed, like medication wise, because I was, long story short, not properly medicated. And I was using the internet as a coping mechanism during my depression. So yes, you can definitely do it. It's definitely an escape, like Sugar Crits just said. So you can absolutely use the internet and be online all day and be depressed.
And Boss Pitch, just real quick.
Yeah.
When I mention the fart pillow or anything to do with any of that stuff, I'm not going after you. I don't know enough about it to even care. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying in general, what I see from an outsider that doesn't watch it all the time is someone who's he gets poked, and then when he pops off, everyone's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he popped off." You know what I mean? It's like,
No, I
of
totally
course he
get it.
popped off.
And
Of
a
course
lot of
he did.
people, yeah, a lot of people, that's how they thought what happened with me and him. But you know, they kept getting the timeline wrong. So like, yeah, did I fuck with him? Sure. It was like the non-malicious trolling. Everybody knows I sent him some bullshit in the mail because he had a week of crying. So I thought it was funny sending some tampons and tissues. I made some merch for some other YouTubers that at their request, for their own personal reasons. He asked, and I have it all, it's all on my page. I have it all like broken down. He asked me to stop. I said, no problem, I'll stop. Totally ignored him. 2 months later, he legitimately, for 18 hours while I was across the country, threatened to kill me and my children when my husband wasn't home. So like, what, like, I don't.
To me, Boss Bitch, up until the day that the court agreed with you, I would have a leg to stand on to disagree with you. But the moment that the court agreed with you and said that he made threats, because again, I didn't know enough about it.
Right.
But the courts don't just throw out HOs easily, right? So the fact that you got one says to me that he crossed the line, he did whatever he needed to do. But when I say that I don't know what's going on with him, a long time ago, he made a stream about one hot gal. I haven't watched the dude since. A matter of fact, a lot of times when there's lives about him, like say another show is talking about him, I turn it off. It's boring to me. Like I don't give a fuck about that dude. I don't understand why when he goes live that there's not 2 people watching him, and that's it. Like I don't get it.
It's right now at this point, it's kind of just regurgitated vomit. Just keep coming. I feel like it's like the poltergeist and it just keeps coming out. It's the same shit, different day. But I do agree. People are saying that he's not mentally ill. I do think that he does have mental illness. He's often manic. And again, not a doctor, not claiming to be a doctor, just another mentally ill person who has been in the loony bin.
Well, the same people who are saying he's not mentally ill are saying that he would benefit from being Section 8, or that when he was Section 8, that it would benefit him.
Section 12.
Section 12, whatever.
When he came out of the hospital, he said they told him what meds to take, but he wasn't going to take them because the meds are poison and they're not good for you, and they hadn't been researched and blah, 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 blah.
Because he's mentally ill.
Right.
Look,
it's like being an addict. You need to want the help.
Yes.
Nobody can shove the pills down your throat. You have to take them yourself. So until he wants to actually be well in the head, until he hits a place where and I did say it, I'm not ashamed of it. The reason I sectioned myself is I tried to kill myself. I hit a wall where I had no choice. So until he hits that wall where he has no choice to get help, he's going to be like this because he's not going to go get the help himself. He doesn't have the support system around him to help him or force him to get the help. And he's a grown man, so nobody but him, in the police and the court can section him. So I mean,
and it is next to impossible to get Massachusetts courts to order medication for something like that. They'll just keep playing catch and release with him until he figures it out or something worse happens.
And he's going to continuously use.
I'm going to interrupt for just a minute because his patience is running out. This would not be one of my panels if you didn't get to say hi to Tobers.
Tobers for president.
Tobers for president. Mm-hmm. Hey, baby. He's reached the end.
Here's the real reason, Quick Quiver, why what you're hoping for and what I had at one point hoping for until I realized it was never going to happen is never going to happen, which is ignoring Rebel. Because this community really picked up its steam during the lockdowns when there was nothing else going on, but there was YouTube 24/7.
Oh, yeah.
Like there were 3 panels on at any given time. For almost 2 years, that is what we did for entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it also
most of us got up in the morning, we turned on YouTube, and we listened to it until we went to bed. Some people listened to it overnight. There's nothing on now, though. Hold on,
nothing on
get to the end. There's nothing on except Rebel. 18 hours a fucking day. So the people that are used to watching YouTube, used to being able to give their opinion on literally everything in a chat, are going to watch whatever is on.
That's true. Yeah.
Look, Richard Cheese was not at his panel one day. He was off doing real life shit. Rebel ended. Richard was live for 4 hours with a YouTube end screen on his screen. For 4 hours, 25 people sat in his chat and carried on with nothing on.
I mean,
that's why people watch him.
Terry did the same thing one night. Actually, twice, I believe. He did an experiment. One, he put a 24-hour Japanese bug spray video on, and it sent people into a frenzy. What happened to Terry? Why are there Asian people on his screen? Was he hacked? And Terry was just laughing behind the screen because everybody was going nuts as to why this was happening, but people were watching it. And then the other time he did it, it was when Lauren De Laguna, he was proving that even watching paint dry was more impressive than Lauren De Laguna, and he actually did just a video of paint drying and had more viewers than Lauren did on her live. People.
But the reason for that is the real definition of community. People aren't watching Rebel because it's Rebel. They're watching Rebel because the chat is where they get to hang out with their friends and chat and carry on. And I've seen people talk about their grandchildren being born and their grandparents passing away and getting new houses and moving and getting new pets and losing pets and exactly the same thing you would say to your friend, that you lived in town with when you catch up with each other. So it's the fact that he's the only thing on is why everybody's sitting there watching him. But, and it compounds it that he's such a psychotic little weasel when he is live.
But you can come up with different content. I mean, just because, I come up with different content, and as much as people say I talk about Connie all the time, I don't have to. I try not to, and I just, even if it's bullshit talk, it's not about Connie. It's not about shit going on, just get people want something else to listen to. But the biggest problem is that most people here on YouTube now have stick up their asses and they can't take a joke. So if you're trying to do something fun, they automatically shit down your throat and shut your channel down. That's the problem. So nobody wants to go live.
I'm sorry, Quick Quiver. May I please go to the washroom?
Yes.
Thank you.
Not on cam.
As long as, so in my view, as long as there's people who are talking about him, giving him that adrenaline rush or whatever of being talked about, there's going to be other people out there who, for one of two reasons, either they feel sorry for him or they think it's funnier than shit to throw him money to piss everyone in chat off. You know what I mean? Because nothing riles a chat up more than to find out he made $25. You know what I mean? So one of those two things are going to continue to happen. He's going to continue to make money on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
And as long as he's making money on YouTube, he's not going to go get a job.
He's not making enough to do what a job would do for him. Not anymore.
Liz, you're muted.
You're muted, Liz.
He's not even making enough to cover his smokes now. He's not. And it's why Connie's one of those people. He has his pride is all misplaced. It's all for the wrong reasons. He is so resentful that the community has made it difficult for him to come on stream and E-Beggar. I mean, Sugar Crits and I trolled the fuck out of him the other night because he came on for the sole purpose of letting us know that he was coming on the next day to ask for help. So I called it pre-begging.
Wow.
And Sugar Crits ran with it. Well, guess what? The next day he didn't even go live.
It's almost like an open sign, like open. I'll be open from 7 a.m. till 3 a.m. Open for donations.
The other thing is that oh, sorry, Liz.
And I've got this comment of Ace's highlighted. One day he says he has mental illness. The next day he got cleared of any mental illness. Well, he got himself sectioned, and then he gets out early so he can go to court. Well, we know how that turned out. But he also claimed, "Oh, I'm not on any medication." They said there's nothing wrong with me. I'm not mentally ill.
I'll on Connie's behalf though, anybody can sign themselves out early. It's not really lying. I mean, he lied, but when I was in the funny farm, people were signing themselves out after 3 days for a butt. They were choosing cigarettes over their mental illness.
Well, I think he signed himself in. My feeling on this whole thing, now that I've seen it all play out, is that he got told when he got to the hospital, they took one cuff off so the nurse could take his blood pressure, and he was still flipping the fuck out. And they hit him with the 3-2-1, and then they looked at him and said, "You have a choice. You can either be arrested or you can voluntarily sign yourself in for observation." And so he voluntarily signed himself in. And it worked well for him for a few days. As much as he bitches about you couldn't move the furniture and somebody watched him pee, he was in a stable environment. He was on regular meds. They were figuring him out. But a week isn't long enough to figure out your meds, one. And two, they don't send you home with a bucket full of drugs. They sent him home with maybe a day's worth of maintenance and said, "Here's follow-up providers that you can go visit." And he refused to fucking do that. And I think it's because as soon as he got home, his mom went, "Nope, I'm not losing my gravy train. Get back on there and beg, Costa."
Well, I mean, everything he says.
Mental illness.
I don't like using mental illness as a weapon. When people say that they're mentally ill to get out of bad behavior, that's where I like. Liz was saying, like, I draw the line at that. I can be an asshole. I can be just like my name on Discord says, a literal fucking bitch, but it's not because I'm mentally ill.
What I'm saying is I can sit in a chat and I can say whatever I want to Caroso.
Trumpy in the chat with my old photo. Okay.
I can do whatever I want to Caroso from a chat, and he is not going to react to it. And if he does, he's going to laugh at it. It's not going to bother him. He's mentally stable. But guys like Mike Cerrone, Rebel, Emo, they can't deal with it. They can't process it.
Here's the thing.
They pop off, and it's funny, and so then everyone does it more.
Well,
here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Emo could never deal with it. Emo consistently couldn't deal with it. Rebel can one night, and he can't the next. So whatever's going on with him is situational. Right. I am unwilling to say that Rebel has a mental disorder, or whatever you want to call it, that's persistent.
Right. So
he might be depressed now and then, but I don't think he has depression to the level that people, when you say I have depression, that people think of when you hear depression.
I'm not saying depression. I'm not saying depression.
Me and him are in the same state. All right. And like Richard Cheese is saying, they send you home with like 2 to 4 weeks of meds. Okay.
Is that you, Steph?
Stop using your kid for sympathy, Liz King. Stop.
Oh, shut the fuck up, Prime.
So, I checked
What a
myself in.
shit.
It very well could only just take a week of medication, and if you're charismatic, I saw the people in there. You can talk your way out of the hospital in a week, even if you need it. If you need to be in there more, because you have a psych team there. They gave you a bunch of meds to try, the bare minimum, and then they send you home if, like Quick Corber said, if you're stable enough. If you're not, they send you to a long-term treatment facility, like around here would be Recovery Centers of America or an ad care, where they have better suited and more rooms for a longer stay. He could have checked himself out just like I did. I could have checked myself out after 3 days, even though what I did, and I checked myself in. So if he stayed the week, but they don't send you home with meds. They send you
it's me.
They send you
Okay.
home with a prescription, like they'll send it to your pharmacy and shit. And then it's up to you to follow up with your primary health care to keep that going, which I don't think he has, nor did he do. And that's where that problem lies.
His
and
pharmacy, which the only local one that takes his insurance, he can't go into anymore because he got trespassed because he went in and started screaming at the pharmacist because they trespassed his mom because she got racist at the pharmacist. This is why he starts being depressed. Now, I'm not saying has depression, and starts flipping out on live streams because he has fucked himself every step of his life. And when he starts to realize that is when you get the sulky, whiny, pouty, dramatic rebel. When he actually is in a good mood is when you get the cocky, smack talking, I'll take you on, come at me rebel.
Yeah.
But either way, what he needs to do is have somebody pick him up by the scruff of his fucking neck and put him somewhere where he has to work to get something done. I would be willing to bet when he was in that observation for a week, he had something he had to do every day that was required. Yes. They always require you to do something, even if it's just make your bed and brush hair. They make you do something.
Okay, can I so I'll jump in. They don't make you do anything, regardless of whether you put yourself in there or the court ordered you. There are some long timers, because I was walking by one of the people's rooms and I was like, why the fuck is this bitch's room fucking decorated? And it's because she's been there for 4 months, and because she refuses to do the treatment therapy, because what they want you to do is go to classes. You go to different classes with a mental health professional, and it's about coping. It's about stress and anxiety management. It's about mental health. Some people are in those places for drug abuse. So it's about coping with drug abuse, because it's like a dual diagnosis type of thing. So you don't have to do anything, but you're going to stay there. Like this one girl, like I said, she was there for 4 months, and the mental health guy kept saying, are you going to come and do your treatment this week? And she's like, maybe next week. And then she sat there and colored in her robe. She's one of those people that just like the Seroquel, like to sit there and walk around in their robe all day and not have any responsibility. But just as a note, no, you don't have to do anything. They can't make you do anything, but you'll sit there in that fucking mental health facility until you
let me rephrase what I'm saying then. They give him a structure that he could operate in, and it sounds like he thrived in that structure. At home, he has no structure. He literally doesn't. I mean, I think mom brings him Uncrustables in a fucking a juice box once a day.
Right.
But
believe me, I hate even defending Rebel.
No, you're not defending. You're not defending him.
I'm trying to give you the real shit situation being in the fucking psych ward, because I was just
you're not defending him, and I don't think you are.
I can tell you that I have quite a bit of experience with the mental hospital end of it, from seeing my daughter admitted as a patient more than once, multiple times, and they don't make you do stuff. There was one unit here that my daughter said, I did nothing. She said they pretty much kept me zonked out. I slept almost all the time.
But the courts will make him do something if he fucks up his case badly enough.
See, And there's a couple of things that I want to add. And after watching the Lawless panel, it became more clear to me that this, like I said, inevitable logical result. This was always going to happen because people were going to get tired of paying for him to literally set shit on fire. They were going to get tired of it. People get tired of paying for people's necessities, much less luxuries, especially when you're able-bodied and can work. So he, I don't know.
The world,
There's
Liz, the world is happening again. People have shit to spend money on again. The government's not just giving people excess money that they don't know what to do with.
And not only that, everything is more expensive. Everything is more expensive. My electric bills are $100 more than they were a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of money flowing around these YouTube streets.
Yeah,
There's a lot.
I also
of it.
cannot relate to these poor people problems.
There's
But
a lot
so
less
would
than
I.
there was. There's a lot less than there was. Quick
There's
River.
less, but there's plenty of people who are getting all kinds of stuff.
Yes,
So I'm
but
I'm
this
just
guy,
all right.
this guy's been raised to hold people who work for a living in contempt. It was obvious from his mother's language on the Lawless panel, and it's obvious every time he says, well, you think I don't matter because I don't have a job. You can hear the contempt dripping from his voice.
Yeah.
Okay, Evil Terry, I apologize. You came up here and I want you to feel welcome. I'm sorry.
Yes. I feel very welcome, and I'm like the European correspondent of the trolling game. Also, like I'm a 7 Ranch recipient of the meme wars of 2016. So I speak with some authority here, right? And I think like you can watch Rebel for whatever reason, right? But like the way it goes down, it's always the same. So I try to like compare it to our own local favorite lolcow, which is the Dragon Lord. We're in year 10 like of this game, right? Like locally in Germany, and it's always the same, you know. You have a person like Rebel, then first of all there are a couple of people that know who he is, you know, and that's usually like the best part of the game because that's when it's funny and it's like the inside jokes and people make a little art about it and stuff like that, you know. And people like Rebel, so their life becomes like an anime plot, right? So where it's like him against like the rest of the world and shit like that, and then they cannot stop because like they have to fight and make their stance and whatever, right? And the more people get into the game, you know, from what reason so ever, it will never end. The only ending factor will be like if he ever leaves the internet, and I don't see that happen. That's the only
Not on
thing
his
how
own.
it will stop. Yeah,
Yeah,
there will
not on his
always
own.
They would have to
there will
recruit him
always
along.
be new people discovering him and whatsoever. And at one point, it usually reaches a critical mass. Like the guy for us in Germany, he's like in television news and shit because of the trolling. Like after 10 years, right? So, but we also handle shit different here. Like, so people showed up at his house. One day they said like they're gonna have a festival and 800 people showed up. You know, stuff like that. But it's like, so the more people that get involved, and it will not end. And there will always be a sucker giving him money and shit like that. So
You're right,
it will
Terry.
not end.
A
only
sucker
end
or a
is-
troll.
Paige.
A
Yeah,
sucker or a
whatever.
troll.
That's right. You know, you can call it like enablement trolling or whatever. But there will always be a way for him like to keep that shit going. The only way out for him is like to end it himself, like the internet shit, you know. So I will not like advocate here for,
Paige,
but you know what I mean. It will never end. I think he
Paige
has.
is here to make trouble, Steph. Make no mistake. Paige, I got news for you. You don't get to call anybody a victim because you took a man without a car who lives thousands of miles away from you to court. Okay? Do not cry victim.
Well, wait a second. Wait, Liz, was it okay
The
for Boss
opinions
Bitch to-
expressed by the host and members of this panel do not necessarily reflect the opinions of everyone on the panel. Thank you.
Liz, was it okay to take for Boss Bitch to take Rebel to court?
I'm going to tell you something quick. Normally, I don't have much to say about either of these ladies' court cases because they are not my business. But
Like,
the
you
fact
do
is,
realize Yeah.
The fact
Sorry.
is that Paige has acted like she is the only person with a legal court beef, with a legal and legitimate court beef. Anytime anybody has dared take Rebel to court, she's had issues with it. She complains, I'm going to go to the court. I'm going to tell him you're lying about Rebel. Fuck off. Fuck off.
Yeah.
So, I look. I don't.
Rebel could walk. Rebel could walk to Boss Bitch's house. It would take him a little while, but he could do it.
If you think that just because Brett doesn't have a car, he can't get to North Carolina, you're crazy, right? He could get a ride, he could do something, but I don't know that it was all about a physical threat to him. Some of it was
Look,
just to get him to shut up.
I think if you feel sufficiently threatened, and that if you have the incidents that rises to a court level, then what the court decides is the court's decision. That is the correct decision. This cherry picking of, well, those 3 cases were right because I like those people, but those 2 were wrong because I don't like those people. Yell at the courts. They're the ones that made the fucking decisions.
That's what I was going to say next is if the court would have thrown it out and said it didn't have merit, I would think you'd have a leg to stand on, but the court clearly found that they had a leg to stand on. So,
yeah, I mean, and that's another thing. I have said more than once that Brett fucked around and found out.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
mean, I
think
think
Boy, for me, it's like,
and
so
he bitches about it every fucking night. Brett goes live and he says, "If you don't like what I'm saying, kid, then fucking do something about it." Well, somebody did something about it, and now he goes, "That fucking bitch, she fucking like, dude,
Okay,
like,
all right.
Well, first of all,
The
she is a
opinions
fucking
of the
bitch.
panel
But
guests
like, what I
but
wanted
that's
to
not
say
my
is
point.
like,
Was
all right,
he called a
talk over me
bluff.
again.
He called a bluff, and
Alright.
she threw her cards on the table and had a
She did.
winning hand in that case.
She did.
That's just the way it works out.
She did. He fucked around and found out. He opened his mouth. He found out that there was consequences. And I mean, I don't have an opinion about that per se. But what I do have an opinion about is her talking about people on this panel crying victim and talking about, psychological issues and mental health. Paige B, I have a lot of experience with mental health issues. A lot. From the school of fucking hard knocks, lady. So step off.
Yeah, so my opinion about this whole court shit is, it is true the court made a decision. In my opinion, I'm not a lawyer, but like it's the wrong decision. But I can also see why you would not pursue like a costly court case further. At some point it's just well, is it worth it kind of thing? And yeah, well, that's what it is. I mean, I heard the tapes, I heard the crying and everything, like, and I can see why he is not pursuing it further. Like, I don't know, like your court system is kind of weird in that regard, like with the money involved. But yeah, so
I mean, Brett's trade is on pretty sharp words. You know what I mean? His knife's cut pretty deep. So I could see where replaying videos of things that he's saying in a courtroom probably doesn't look so good for him, even though he's just kind of being Brett. You know what I mean? Was he really going to do anything? Probably not. I mean, I don't know that though. So, but I mean, he says words that are pretty biting. So I could see why he would lose in court.
Here's the thing. Had Rebel said the same shit about Andrew that he said about Boss Bitch, and Andrew gone in for an HO, they would have told Andrew to get the fuck out. Said this has no merit. But here's the thing. When you target a woman and children, the courts take it more seriously. They shouldn't, and by all logic of legalitude, that shouldn't happen, but it does. You have to know your target and know who you have to tiptoe around, and who you can go full bore at. That's something Rebel has not figured out. No, I know you don't, Andrew. I was just using you as an example.
I don't agree with you. El Sancho is twice the size of
well, El Sancho is a large-titted, overweight woman with a baby at home. Keep that in mind.
El Sancho and Connie in court at the same time. He towers over him. And he won easily. So, look, I don't agree. Me and you talked about this on your panel a long time ago. I think HOs are a lot easier to get than you guys realize. I think there could be 20 more HOs in a heartbeat here.
Well, they're
if people
super
just
easy.
wanted to take the
Hold on.
time.
No, because most of us would show court and argue the HO and go, well, yeah, he's accusing me of this, but he also said all these things. The reason Sancho got a super easy HO against Rebel is because Rebel didn't show up for the hearing. Rebel sat at home. If Rebel had shown up and argued against it, there's a good chance Sancho wouldn't have gotten it. But a bunch of people were live saying, that's it, Rebel. Go to the courthouse. Go to the courthouse. See what happens.
Okay,
Go to the
I
courthouse.
have some mods.
That's what I was just getting ready to say, is that I remember there being all kinds of threats to him, as far as, if you get in that car, we're gonna find that car and we're gonna call the police on you. There's gonna be people standing outside the courthouse waiting for you. All kinds of stuff.
That's right. And even
Not that
like,
Sancho was doing it. I'm not saying Sancho did that.
No. We're not.
but even when he was
saying
at
Sancho
court,
actually
somebody
did it.
tripped him over and he got a concussion. You know, it's like
Yeah.
shit was going down.
Look, I'm not. I want to go back on record. I'm not defending what Connie
Oh my
is
God.
doing or doesn't.
Bones only has one
Anyway.
fucking joke. Jesus Christ. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm not. I'm just baffled, because I can't. Every time I've tuned in, like, oh, hey, Connie's live, I'm gonna see what's going on. It's usually either silence or him yelling. It's one or the other. Most of the time, it's silence. Now, sometimes there's gold in there. Like, I saw a clip of him singing a Corrosive song the other day. Now, I get it that you probably hated that, because I think you said that there was a picture of you behind it or whatever, but I don't know. I think there's stuff that he does that is kind of funny. You drinking water, that's a funny clip. Reading books and drinking water.
He has some nuggets of gold in there. Like also his clip where he says, "You want to know what I think about your channel," and he flushes the toilet. That always makes me giggle.
Yeah,
That's
that
a
was
great
good.
clip.
It's hard for anybody. Nobody's going to convince me that he's not got some sort of talent when everybody in this community is watching him. Again, I can watch a panel where people are explaining exactly what coffee cup he uses, why his mom needs that coffee cup.
Because he explained it.
Because
But he went live and he held it up once and he showed it. And he told us why he uses it as his coffee cup.
Because you've watched it so much that you know every fucking thing the dude does.
It's the only thing on. It's him or soap operas.
Yeah, but it's also, I think it's like, so where the disconnect happens, like in his mind or stuff like that, like, or with people like that. It's like, so it's like a race car driver that crashes every race, right? And people come to watch the crash. And the driver thinks they are there because they're such a great driver,
Yes.
It's like, that's where the disconnect happens.
It's Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman was, for Crosive, he was a basketball player in the
yes, I'm well aware of who Dennis Rodman is.
But anyway, he could not shoot. The guy, you could put him all alone under the basket. It would take him 3 times to make a basket, right? But he was good at defense, and he would color his hair different colors, marry Madonna, then divorce her the next day. He was always in the news. He came to a game in a wedding dress one time, and everybody
I'm well aware.
knew or hated him.
He's Kim Jong-un's best friend.
But he was the biggest fucking thing. He overshadowed Michael Jordan on the Bulls. Michael fucking Jordan.
You made me come back here quick.
Okay.
We have all told Rebel that he has talent. There are people who have tried to get him, tried to pay him for openings. He can edit a video. He makes good intros.
I got that one, guys. Oh, God.
Every angle you can think of, everyone has tried it. No one's ever denied that Rebel didn't have talent. It's just more profitable for him to boo-hoo, whine, and cry until he gets money.
Yep. And then threaten people for not giving him money. The very people he attacked the day before.
No, I mean, look, and that's why I say that he's nuttier than squirrel poop. I'm not saying he has depression. I'm not saying he's bipolar. I don't know what's fucking wrong with him. I just know that I can watch him and go, that boy ain't right.
I've never once said he has talent.
Look.
He does not have the talent that makes YouTube a viable.
He's never going to be
option for him.
PewDiePie.
No, but he might be
but
Chris
it's not-
Chan.
He
Has he
gets
fucked his mom yet?
he gets
I'm
everyone.
sorry.
He gets
There's
everyone
people
here.
that are trying to make that happen. I'm
He
sure
gets-
there are people that are trying to make that happen.
He gets everyone here talking about him, and people who normally don't panel fire up panels to discuss him, and people do send him money. So
Oh my god!
You know-
Look. Can you find better YouTube
That's not
content from one?
difficult.
Can you find better YouTube content from one guy than "Make it so"? Number one, okay, Captain. When he sits there with his Star Trek playset and goes on for an hour talking to himself, acting out Star
Dolly,
Trek
Oh,
episodes.
I got him to stop that. I got him to stop it.
The
Once I
USS
called it-
Section 8. Is like,
Once I told him he was playing Dollies on the Bridge with Captain Picard, you noticed the Star Trek playtime stopped.
These are
I
the
have-
voyages of the Starship Section 8. Thank you.
I
Terry.
have-
That was
grifted where
perfect.
no man has grifted before.
I have no idea that has happened because I haven't heard it talked about on a panel I actually like, and I don't watch the dude. Like, I pay no attention to him whatsoever. If they're not talking about him on a panel of someone I like, then I probably not watch it. And to be completely honest, even though Liz is one of my favorite people on YouTube, if I wouldn't have come up here, I probably wouldn't have watched very much of this. I would have been like, oh fuck, they're talking about Connie. I'm gonna go see what they're doing over at Wrangler Star or somewhere else that's nothing to
That's
do with
okay.
this.
It's not the topic for everybody, but
When you say this is the only thing on here, there's literally thousands of videos downloaded every day to YouTube. There's a lot of things to watch other than these live streams.
Yeah, but I try and watch things other than these live streams, and then I have to check back every 5 minutes to find out what the local idiot's doing, and I end up watching this again.
Yeah, well, that's your addiction, sir.
Well,
Because
that's
you're
a lot of
addicted
people's
to
addiction.
Connie.
I mean,
Not
you
just.
got-
I mean, it doesn't have to be
Paige.
Connie.
You've got Paige in chat calling us all psychos. And I mean, I got news for you, Paige. Your friend Rebby, he's the psycho. Didn't you hear what he said to Swedish Sugar? He should not ever be allowed to even mention the word suicide troll again. Ever. Ever. And
What did he say?
Swedish Sugar.
What
Oh,
did he say?
it's- You don't know, Quick?
Dude,
Are you talking
people
about the kill yourself thing?
Yeah,
Are
and
you
then
saying-
suggested that
Wait.
literally everyone in his chat do the same thing.
Are you saying swallow a shotgun, trip, and pull the trigger?
No.
Did he
was
name
very
his
more
dog
clear
after
about
a
that.
shotgun? Did he name his dog after a shotgun? Remington. Did he name his dog Remington?
Okay, I'm not sure what point
Did
you're
you-
making.
Did you have this same craziness when Andrew said the same? Andrew went
I
on
didn't
for like
like
a
it very
month.
much.
Some of us sure as shit did.
Yeah. Some of us didn't like
I
it.
mean,
I'm
that's
not saying
one of
that
the-
it's
that's
wrong.
one
I'm
of the-
saying that Connie just mimicked what Andrew did 6 months ago. Is all he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, he's
to
a little more
his
specific
friend.
about it.
That to his friend, Quick, Swedish Sugar, who has kissed his ass and backed his ass and given him more money probably than anybody else. That's who he said that to. And I
So
don't
it matters
even like
who you
her.
say
I
it to?
detest it.
I mean,
I detest
look. I mean, I think kill
Yeah,
yourself,
it's-
swallow a shotgun is the exact
It
same
does.
thing.
I will tell you, it does matter because the fact that he would say that to somebody that he has called a friend speaks volumes about him.
And I'm not in any way saying that naming the dog Remington is bad or that him saying swallow a shotgun. I'm saying have the same. It's the same fucking thing. If you're if
2
you're
years
upset
ago,
at
a lot of us were saying shit about it. Quick.
if you're upset at Connie doing it, then you have to be upset at the other way around.
Dude, I was. I
I get
absolutely
ya.
was. That's one of the reasons I was backbiting, snitch, beta, whatever the fuck Andrew was slobbering about me for 2 months. Because I called him out on
Cuck.
that shit.
You're a backbiting cuck.
But I mean, the bigger picture here is why does Sweet keep coming back to him even after all this shit? She's still in his chat. Oh, be positive, Connie. Don't let the unpositive people up to rule your life. While she sits in chat and times everyone out. It's because this is the situation we're at now. The only place Sweet has power is his fucking chat. Think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this. Okay. All right.
I
so,
don't think that
let's
Swedish
talk about
Sugar is
this.
necessarily
Let's
saying
talk
either.
about this because this is something that was a theme on that Connie was talking about. He's
my God,
grumbling
wait.
because we want to make him the biggest E-Beggar of all time. We're making him out to be that. Let's talk about e-begging. Let's talk about help. Let's talk about the help that Andrew's gotten over the years. We'll talk about that because not a single person around here that's gotten any donations, any panel host, whether it is AC or Andrew or Tonic, they do not do what Connie does. They do not expect a wage. That is what he expects. He expects a living wage.
They just go about it a little bit differently, though, right? I'm sure Andrew's made way more money than Connie's ever dreamed of making.
No.
Yeah, but Andrew
Connie-
provides receipts. Andrew needed help to get his rent caught up so that he could get a new place. He showed a fucking receipt. Andrew needed a new ice box. He showed a receipt. The people in this community are generous to a fucking fault. If they think that you actually need what you need. And some of them get scammed on it repeatedly. And one of the reasons, here's something I wanted to mention earlier, but I got distracted. One of the reasons so many people keep an eye on Rebel is so that he can't fleece the next motherfucker that shows up. And he can dribble his sob story out to about his rusted out car that he's already been given enough money to replace, but he's spending on weed instead.
Again, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I don't understand why everyone cares so fucking much.
That
I
Connie
don't get
has
it.
received more donations than Andrew and Tonic combined.
No.
See, for me, the
Maybe
thing
Tonic.
is like,
Maybe Tonic, but not AC, not Brett, not Andrew. No way. No way.
For me, the thing with the money is like, of course, like when I talk to Rebel or something, like I say, "Oh, you're grifting," whatever, kind of that. It's part of the trolling game, you know.
It's part of the troll.
But do I honestly care?
Drugs with that money.
Yeah, but
who cares what he's buying,
dude? I don't care what other people do with their money. And if they find it like it's a good investment to give him money whatsoever. Because the thing is, for me, it's not a life-changing amount. He will be the same miserable fuck like the next week. So it's not like that people like lift him out of his poverty or something. It's just like it just acts on the cycle, you know? And that's
look,
like
I've gone on and on about, like, people were on Polly about getting glasses and stuff, and I was all the time going, "Who do you guys watch Friends and complain about how much Jennifer Aniston made?" Of course not. Of course not. The guy, if Polly's given up his time, or Steph's given up her time, or Liz, if you get monetized and someone throws something in your chat, or El Sancho just talked in chat and someone throws him some donos or is a member of his chat, who cares?
That's a lot different than someone telling you if you don't donate to them, they're going to dox your family line.
I get that.
Okay, so the donations, like, I don't think anybody gives a shit except for when he's not doing that. Maybe they're pissed off that he's done that in the past, and so they have an issue with him getting donos. But he's gone about it with threats.
It's me.
It's just really weird to me that people give a shit of who's getting money and how they're getting it. It doesn't
really
make any sense to me.
That you compare everything that goes on here to me.
I was only comparing swallow a shotgun.
No, you
swallow a shotgun.
You compare swallow a shotgun. Everything that's been set up here.
Well, Andrew, everything is your fault.
Andrew, it's because the reason I'm saying that, Andrew, is because Connie kind of mimics
shifting
you.
the blame.
Connie wants to be your little brother in the worst fucking way.
He does.
Yeah.
Well, Rebels also admitted that he took on Andrew's persona of, if you fuck with me, I'm going to go at you 10 times harder. He took that on. He just did it wrong.
It's my fault. He mimics me. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Not at all. And Andrew, I said, I don't care.
Andrew.
I don't care who gives you money. I think anyone who's doing a panel and taken their time out to do that kind of stuff. If somebody wants to throw money to them, it's their money. It doesn't matter. The fact that you go out of your way to show what people sent and where you spent the money, I don't think you have to do that. But you do,
No,
and I think that's admirable.
I think it's very necessary. How would I put that? I don't know how you put that. I think it's very important that people do that.
Necessary.
Because of people like Connie that ask for money for his car 5,000 times and never uses that money.
Well,
when I first started on YouTube, people were very generous with their money. I mean, look, you're right. I have received 10 times the amount Rebel will ever received. I've also been on YouTube 10 times as long as Rebel's ever been on YouTube. Right?
Yeah, and quick, don't forget,
I had a whole different channel of content that people donated to.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
If you want to take
everyone else's donations,
Ramadan donations, and compared to Connie's, I haven't received that much more than him, if any at all. Now, if you want to take the whole time I've been on YouTube with all my channels together, then absolutely I have.
He's clocking Andrew's donations. He's clocking everybody else's donations. He's saying nobody else deserves donations. He's doing that all day, every day.
I look at it like this, and I've said this before about Pauly. If you want Pauly to go live every night, there's got to be times where you're like, I don't fucking want to go live. I want to just sit here and watch TV, right? But if he's making donations and whatever, there's a monetary reason, he's going to get up. He's more likely to get up and fire up that live stream and entertain us all. I think that people donating money or becoming a member of a channel or helping someone out is beneficial.
Yeah, but when you con people for that money,
right,
that's a problem.
And when you call people out for donating other places, but not to you.
Quick Quiver, this is what happens. Somebody comes in to Rebel's stream and they think, well, he's kind of cool. And then he's having trouble right now. He needs some weed. Okay. And they shoot him $25-$30. Well, in another week or so, or maybe 3 days, maybe only 3 days. Last time with Bedtime Clown, it was only a couple of days. He's back. I need more money. I'm out of weed. I'm out of smokes.
He wants money for literally hitting the live stream button and then sitting on mute for 12 hours.
Yeah.
He deserves donations for that.
And he doesn't want to entertain anybody. He doesn't want to have panels. He doesn't want to have discussions. He wants a bunch of yes men patting his ass. He wants a bunch of page mommies to feel sorry for his ass.
Yep. And the funny thing is he's only helping the community grow more. I can't tell you how many people I have met who said they found all of us through Rebel. And now they hate him and they can't stand him because he's an asshole and a piece of shit.
Well, and as soon as someone finds out that they gave him money, they get attacked by everybody.
No, not just look. Quick, everybody that meets Rebel comes across him and sees him as a victim. All it takes is watching him for a week to realize that he is no victim.
There was a girl who was on their channel today. And
guess what? I've got a lawnmower. I've got an icebox, and I don't remember ever receiving money for donations for lawyers. But I do have a lawnmower. I do have an icebox, right? I didn't ask for that money and then go around and spend it on weed or whatever the hell else I was, wanted at the time.
Exactly. I think that's
you're also not going live every single fucking day saying, give me money, give me money, give me money, give me money.
No, it's every other day. No, I think a lot of us are worried that another nice old lady who sees the light at the end of the tunnel is going to stumble on him and dump her life savings into him. And he's going to tell her he's going to use it to get his teeth fixed, to get his car fixed. And what he's going to do, he's going to buy a bag of weed big enough for him to sleep on. That's all he's going to fucking do. And when he burns through that, she's going to be the evil one too. And he's going to say horrible shit about her.
And it's a pattern of behavior.
Worried about.
What if that same lady? Well, what if that same lady came to DFK's chat and put $20 in his chat? Are 3 people gonna make a community post about it and call her out and tag her name in the community post?
I'm sorry, I was lost.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. Call her out how? Call her out like, hey, you're a piece of shit for donating to Rebel, or hey, here's a heads up on what this guy's going to do.
I'll find it real quick and I'll read it to you, the one I saw.
But I just want to say, I was personally scammed by DFK. I gave him 25 for
he did not show you the butthole.
Never seen the starfish, but I'm not mad, It's like, so you write it off. It's like...
Yeah, but wait, hold on. One community post is a lot different than 3. Quick Quiver. How many were there?
I could care less.
It's the one the one that comes out of my mind, the one I saw, but there's multiple of them.
I could care less who donates.
I didn't
to
even
who.
know someone donated to him.
It doesn't matter who donates to who. It's the principle behind the person asking for it. If you ask me, that's the reason I find it very apparent to show receipts. Am I obligated to? Hell no. But do I think it's the right thing to do? Absolutely.
And my guess is. Go ahead, Liz. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Especially when you're asking for money for something so specific.
Yeah. And I'm guessing that if he wasn't clocking everybody else donos and clocking every other super chat and then going off and dragging those people that donate in other places, people probably wouldn't do that to him and his.
Oh yeah, he absolutely makes a list. He makes a list of every super chat he sees on monetized channels.
Yep.
Because if you watch him
And
go
goes
live the
after
next
them.
day, those are the people he'll attack.
Yep.
See, but he had a great business plan the other day. He said like, if you don't pay me, I won't go offline. So he wanted donation to go offline. See, then I thought like, well, now we're getting somewhere.
Now we're getting somewhere. Hey, look, I've donated to Rebel back when I thought Binks and them were being just terribly wrong to him, and I was taking up for him. Hell, I gave him
Yeah,
money
we
for
all
free
remember
after that.
those days. Thanks for all the things you taught him, by the way. Appreciate
Yeah, I
that,
taught him a
Andrew.
lot of shit, Look,
Thanks so much.
You're very welcome.
Uh-huh. Appreciate it.
I've even heard Connie come on panels and be like, "Hey, buddy."
And
Look,
I said
can't
this
help
in
it,
the
he mimics me.
He
I
wants
said
to
this in
be
the
Andrew
chat.
in the worst way.
I don't know if you saw it quick, but when he drops the act and he drops the gimmick, Rebel will have a panel where he has everybody up and he's laughing and he's having a great time. But it's like once every 2 months, and it's when he drops the act.
But Steph, is that dropping the actor? Is that
It
a
is.
cycle? Is it a cycle?
No, it's when he drops the act, because everything else he's just putting on a show for donos. And I've been watching. I don't interact with Rebel often.
Do you think
I
that
don't
him
sit
like
and listen to
falling
him for
down at
hours.
the courthouse was an act, or do you think that he's
No, I think he thought that would get him a lawsuit against the.
Look at those headphones.
Yeah, I think he thought that would get him a lawsuit against the bailiff. I think he thought that would pay out eventually if he was. No, it won't. Stop it.
That just arcs out in sharp relief over his Q-tip shaped head.
What's going through his head? There's number
Why
one.
are American
check the
headphones
main.
so big?
Check. They're not. They're not. His head is tiny. Number one. Check the main stabilizer. We seem to be listening to port.
You don't think he's
All
modern?
right, we have
Make it
somebody
so.
on the panel. Somebody has joined the panel. Who has joined the panel?
You're all fucking losers, especially Curtis.
Oh my god. No, but that's never gonna pay out quick ever. That whole
what's funny?
episode that he had will never pay out, and it's people like saying, "Oh, you don't think it will?" That gives him the idea that he's got a chance.
Steph, don't you
And-
think it'd
and
be funny
also-
for us all to say that it probably would pay out so that he would chase that?
I see. Look, are you trolling Rebel?
No, but I think that that's funnier than trying to attack him.
And also, quick quiver, I didn't just name my dog after the Remington shotgun. I also named my turtle, Ace's turtle, after the SIG pistol. Yeah, the brand SIG. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Remington makes a great shotgun. It was just, Andrew, it's just what I'm saying is that he's mimicking you, and that people are making
you're
such
wrong,
a big
because
deal.
you remember back when I first said swallow a shotgun, I didn't really mean for someone to commit suicide. That's not what my now when I say it, it's absolutely what I mean, because so many people got so bent out of shape about it. That's absolutely what I'm talking about.
So
now.
when you said put a shotgun in your mouth, trip, fall down, and pull the trigger,
I never
you
said
weren't
trip,
actually.
when it first came out. I never said trip, pull the trigger. That came out weeks afterwards.
Okay.
The details are
But at that point,
details are important when it comes to that, because when I first told Paige to go swallow a shotgun, that the trip and pull the trigger didn't come out.
That is true. That's true.
I
He
agree
didn't
with
say
that.
it first. It was after all the crying and whining that he had that he
Right.
finally said it.
I believe
I
I'm
agree.
right. I'm 90%, 95% sure.
No, I agree.
Nope,
I
I
agree
was there.
100% that when you first said it, you just said swallow shotgun.
Right.
I don't know.
And then number two, I got that off of fucking oh shit, I can't think of her name now.
You
Well, while
can't
you're
quote
thinking-
things these days, Andrew. People take them as serious death threats. You can't do it.
Richard, the problem with that documentary is it's going to be real time, so you'll have to watch it for 3 years to get to the end.
Hey, I am making a documentary on Yoda's Doug, so stay tuned to that.
No,
Man,
I think
he's
like
been weird.
So,
He's been weird the last couple of days, going live and just driving around like creepily.
Yeah, because he can't say nothing right now.
Yeah,
I'm assuming
That's
that
he's always done that.
His
Steph,
attorney
I
has
assume-
advised him to stay the fuck off of YouTube.
Steph, I
Yeah.
assume that you can't talk about that either, right?
dude,
No,
like,
I can talk
Yeah.
all I want.
for
Yeah,
me,
Technically, Yoda can talk all he wants. It's just
Where is
not
that at?
advised. I
Where's
have to
that?
show up on September 8th to Oregon, and I will be there for the
No.
hearing.
Would you like to crowdsource that? Would you like?
would you like to
Honestly,
fly
I
first
know
class?
I think there's a way that Oregon will actually fit the bill if necessary, but I'm good.
Can we
and you
charter
know
a
what?
plane for you?
You
or
know what?
something?
I'm glad y'all brought the subject of Yoda up, because I got to point out to you, Quick Quiver, that my opinion about what I had to say to Paige about the whole Brett business wasn't just about Boss Bitch. It was also about Steph, because she took a very poor view of her pressing charges against Yoda or calling the cops on him. She called the police. I'm sorry. He didn't. The county press charges, I think. Right?
Look, I think if you want my honest opinion, I think a lot more people should put HOs out on people. If you want my honest opinion.
I put an HO on Quick River.
Don't ruin the fun, motherfucker.
Hey, I was just to report this channel until I got a blue wrench.
I think it would be great for content if a lot more people were to put HOs out on people.
Oh,
and I think there's a lot of winnable ones out there.
Do know, like before you go in your legal business, like the point I was trying to make, like with people like Rebel, is like what I always see. I think in the back of their minds of those lolcows, there's always like the thing, it will work out in the end somehow. You know, there will be, okay, if I suffer through this, like I will come out on top at the end. And like even with a local guy, right? He went to court. The court said, okay, if you stop because like we're socialists, you know. The court said, like, if you stop your YouTube shit, we find you a job, we find you new housing, we will basically like assist you in getting a new life away from all that YouTube shit. All you gotta do is stop YouTube. And he said, no, not interested.
I'm good.
You know?
Terry, I have an honest question for you, and of everyone, Terry, of anyone here, you'll answer it honestly, I believe. If Rebel goes out and gets a job tomorrow, do you think that as soon as these motherfuckers on YouTube find out where that job is, that it's going to get called and he's going to get fucked with?
Yes,
hope
of
it
course.
don't.
It's not because like so see the problem is when you reach a
A year
critical
ago, though,
mass
that might not have been
in
true,
these
though, Quick.
games, right? It's not the quote unquote haters, how we call them always, right? In our circles. It's not a collective. It's not like that we have a meeting and say, so what we're gonna do next is this and that, right? Or it only takes one motherfucker to make that call, you know? And like someone's gonna do it. I'm not saying like Andrew would do it, Steve would do it, probably not.
Andrew would
you know?
call it out. I think Andrew would
like,
call it out.
yeah,
No,
but
we know exactly who
somebody
would do it. We know
Don't
exactly
fuck-
who would do it. The same motherfucker that called the hospital, the same motherfucker that had to fuck him over when he was finally going to get his car fixed. The one that called and said, "Yeah, this is Constantino's dad. He doesn't have my authority to get the car fixed," and then did a fucking victory lap over making that phone call. You know who that is?
Okay, well, for one, I think calling the tire place
Whoa.
and calling not getting tires. Yeah, that was funny. I mean, I wouldn't have done it myself, but taking someone's job, I don't think he would do that.
Yeah, and Rebel was trying to con that tire place.
Yeah, but I also don't care like finding out like who would do it. But like the more Connie gets like known to people, the more fucked up people show up. You know, he's not known in the right places yet. If he would be known in the right places, dude, like shit would become like the energy would become different.
Question: Did he?
That was a great question.
Yes, he live streamed where he was going to get his tires fixed because that's when he was in fear for his life, and he was live streaming everything because Andrew's goons were going to kill him.
Every day.
But that still doesn't make it okay for somebody to have called the shop.
Did he or did he not paint over the rust spots on the frame that he was told were never going to pass inspection because of that, in order to get the stuff fixed? And that mechanic shop would have been behind all of that.
No, that wasn't. There were two different things.
Yeah, I think that's
No, he painted the rust on the frame.
Yeah, but
didn't
the
he?
way when ASMR called, he was getting tires. It had nothing to do with the frame. I don't believe.
Yeah.
No, it did. They weren't just doing tires.
Oh, okay. Well, then
They
I could be
lifted up
wrong.
the car and looked under it.
I could be wrong. I thought it was just a tire thing.
No, it wasn't just
So you're
tires. I mean,
saying
correct
that-
me if I'm wrong.
You're saying that ASMR was doing a service to the state of
Public
Massachusetts.
service. Yes, he was doing a public service.
Look, I thought the tire thing was funny. I mean, I wouldn't have done it once
Fucking
again. I wouldn't have done it
cheese dick
myself, but it
retard.
was funny. It was.
I
I'm
think.
just
I
saying
think
there was
if
a reason
somebody-
behind it.
I
Later
think
on.
if
The
some-
reason was that ASMR is a cheese dick retard. That's the reason.
No, no.
Yes.
The reason, from what I
Yes.
know,
Yes.
was that whatever. I'm not going to argue with you.
I hate it when mommy and daddy fight.
Same reason he had to start
Ew.
calling hospitals as soon as as soon as Rebel went to the hospital to try and figure out what hospital he was in. Nobody needs to
You-
know that shit.
Nobody even knows if he was there.
Well, I mean, he was off the internet
Well,
for
yeah,
3
we
days.
know he was.
Yeah,
No, we
but
know
Rebel
he was
has
there
sat-
because he
No, we
got it
don't.
confirmed.
When? How?
He was in the fucking voice chat when ASMR called live on the phone.
No,
We heard
I'm
the
not.
other
No,
end,
no.
Where the
No, I'm
nurse confirmed
saying
he was
before
there.
the
Well, I
phone
wouldn't- I
call.
wouldn't know that,
All right.
so.
Before the phone call happened, how did anybody know if he was there?
He well,
What's the
what?
matter?
You think they
What's the
stopped the
matter?
fucking ambulance down the street and let him out?
What's the matter?
I think that he could have been there for 2 seconds and then been let go. We don't even know if he was in a psych ward.
But who gives a shit?
We don't even know his doctor's name. We don't know.
You realize while he was there.
No, his doctor
you
name
realize-
is Andrew Brame. That's BRAME.
We
you
don't know
realize-
what kind of sheets he had on his bed in the hospital.
You
These are
realize
things we have to know.
we're so addicted to this shit that there were people daily doing multiple checks on his car to see if it had moved or not while he was in the hospital.
That is
People
true.
were.
People
Yeah,
were
no, I
putting
know.
shock lights on the car to see.
I
if it
was
had
I was
moved.
having that done. Yes.
Yeah, some of the very people who warm up closest next to him are dropping satellite photos of the parking lot of his house in Discords. Right, Paige and STL? Right? Yeah, you guys are doing that?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't drop satellite, but I dropped
See,
real
it's like-
video, real time video.
But for all that, so it's past. So if he like, if we like have that mental experiment where he gets a job, right? Then I think like shit would amp up first. Like, and it doesn't have to be somebody who's like known in the quote unquote community and
That's
shit like
it.
that.
It could
Can
be
be
someone
anybody.
quiet.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm in a like, so we German trolls, we use Telegram. We don't use Discord because you get away with more on Telegram, right? So, and I'm in a Telegram like for this Dragon Lord, this German 60,000 people are in that group. Like every day comprising ways to fuck with this guy. 60,000 people. And like most of them don't agree with like calling the hotels he's staying and shit like that, but someone will, you know? And then it's gonna happen. Like it doesn't matter like what the consensus of the greater group is that it would be wrong or something. It will happen. That's how that shit
Yeah,
always
just
plays.
like
I
someone
just-
called the police and tell the police turboids will commit suicide. You know, there's
Yep.
fucking retards out there.
Yeah. I mean, I think that even if Connie were to quit the internet and then go get a real job, that real job would get fucked as soon as somebody figured
It
out.
doesn't
I
have
think
to
you're-
though. If you look, you know what? If I was in Connie's position, the first thing I'd do is go get a job and say, "Look, there's a bunch of people on the internet trying to fuck with me. They will probably call you."
That
Just
doesn't work,
ignore-
Hirota. That doesn't work. Trust me.
Mm.
I've been fired
mean-
because of phone calls. Yes, that doesn't
Oh, I'm
work.
sure.
But I think
I've
that
tried
the
that.
smarter thing would be like go like quit the internet, like stay low key for a while, stay jobless. You know, he's used to that, and then what happens is first the pressure will increase because people want to get him back. You know, trying to egg him on,
So
and
I've
then
been-
if he can withstand that, then at some point it will die down because like
So
trolls, that the only thing about trolls is they get bored very easily. You know,
So, Rick, Chris, I've been fired from 2 jobs. One was Papa John's. When I got pulled over, I went live, and people on my live stream seen the Papa John's. They called Papa John's, sent just Papa John's a video of me cussing out the cop, and I had my Papa John's shirt on.
Well,
they
yeah,
got me fired.
okay, yeah, that's one
Okay.
thing.
And then when I worked at Sonic, and I told him right out the gate, I said, "Look, I'm on YouTube and give him the whole walk down." He said, "I don't care. They call for all they want to." The calls were so abundant. He said, "Andrew, I can't run a business and answer the phone every 5 seconds."
Yeah, I could see that too, but I don't think that would happen with Rebel. Like 3 people might call,
And
when they got-
twice, so
when they got yes, McDonald's, what can I do for you? McDonald's, if he's getting the fries out when the beeper goes off, they're not going to really give a shit. And most of the idiots here don't have the attention span to keep doing it. Like Terry said, he hasn't attracted the attention of that kind of person yet. He doesn't have the music
How
biz
the fuck
Marty
did I attract that attention of that kind of
following
person?
him around yet.
You're
Because
saying
an
that
auditor,
you're
Andrew.
saying
You have
that
a
people are
certain
willing
charm,
to call a
Andrew. You have a
hospital, but
certain
not
charm.
McDonald's.
No, mine was during the recording shit. Mine has nothing to do with the Drama Dome. It was the recording side of my YouTube.
I think ASMR would get bored with it pretty quickly. He'd make 1 or 2 calls, and that would be the end of it.
It only takes 1 or 2.
Can I just point out something that with Connie, if he had gotten a job, say 12 to 18 months ago, I don't know that we would be having a conversation about whether or not people would be calling on him.
No, I agree. We wouldn't.
Of course not. No, of course not.
It's only because he has let this go on for so long. And he has spent every single penny of any sympathy capital he ever had.
He sits there and degrades Sarah, which is deceased.
Yeah.
He has sit there and replayed a video of an obviously mentally handicapped woman showing her vagina that she was trolled into doing over and over and over.
To trigger her.
Yeah, to trigger her and anybody around her. You understand, he has done some look, I've done a lot of things, right? But he has done some vile, disgusting shit.
Yeah.
And,
I mean,
and
some of
that,
us are a lot of things, but I've never taken a pet to a kill shelter.
No, I just take him out back and put a bullet in her head.
Good God, Andrew.
It's better than a kill shelter.
I've definitely had to kill a pet before. It's not ideal, but
fuck it, Andrew.
I'd rather do it.
Let's go, Remington.
Take it to a kill shelter.
Terry, you're getting an evil eye face right now.
Having a sick animal put down, euthanized,
Hi, Ace.
is not the same as taking a pet to a kill shelter.
Yeah, but you don't understand. Those VHS tapes are collectibles, and they take up a lot of space. You know.
I mean, I ate my animal after I killed it. I mean,
oh, stop it!
I had an old red chow. He was half German Shepherd, half chow, and he was almost 18 years old. And he crawled up under a van that we had on the property, and the van had set down, and he couldn't cross. So I had to crawl underneath there and pull him out, and he couldn't get up. So yeah, I killed him. I put a bullet in his head. Absolutely did. I was 13 at the time, and then I had a beagle that he kept having seizures. We took him to the vet. We had him on medications. Well, at one night he had so bad of a seizure that he's really bleeding out of his nose, his ears, his ass, and he just walked into walls and he wasn't there no more. So I did. I took him out back and I shot him. I mean, I didn't, play around and shoot him in the foot here and shoot him in the foot. I shot him to put him down. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
But like I said, euthanizing an animal is not the same as taking a pet to a kill shelter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the specifics behind what he did. I certainly didn't do it because I was sick of having a dog. It was because the dog got stepped on by a cow and was suffering.
You had it.
I had no other choice.
You had them you had the animal euthanized. It was
I'm not paying $70-$80 for someone to stick a needle in my arm. My bullet cost $3. It's a lot cheaper.
Oh Lord,
$3. What the fuck are you shooting it with, a tank?
I was shooting a 7mm. No, I didn't want the
anyway.
dog
That's
to
not the
suffer.
point.
I didn't want it to suffer, so I used a big enough caliper that it was, I didn't use a 22.
We've really lost the thread here. That's really not the point at all. The point is that Rebel abandoned a fucking cat when he left the house and left it there to keep coming home and wondering where the hell Rebel was. And then he sits there now alive and he goes, I miss my cats. Well, you had the option, buddy, but you chose poorly. Y'all could have taken the fucking money when you were first offered it and gotten into a house like that you paid for and could have had pets. But you chose not to. But y'all decided to sit there and hold out for more and be greedy and want shit that wasn't yours to take, and then play exactly the same wording on the posts about when the workers were showing up to work on the house that you were squatting in, and it's exactly the same wording. I'm in fear for my life. They're threatening me. Help! Help! We need money. We need help. And then the money you did finally get to get your lame, grifting, gypsy fucking asses out of the house. Instead of buying a nice place to live and getting a decent car, you spent half of it on fucking weed that your mom keeps reminding you to not tell anybody that you spent half the fucking money on weed. Spent $5,000 on fucking weed, dude. This is why nobody should support you, because you don't give a shit about yourself. You don't give a flying fuck about your mother. You don't give a damn about where you end up in life. As long as you both get your weed, because that is what drives your life. And that's why you are useless fucking junkie.
I also want to
Absolutely.
point out that,
that was
Rebel is
passionate.
not a gypsy. He cannot perform magic.
Yes.
There's
Gypsies are good
different
at
kind of
pocket.
gypsies. There's even white
pickpocketing.
ones here. There's like Irish travelers here in the United States. They're gypsies too. They're not. They're gypsies are not necessarily of Romani descent.
When
not,
I was in,
not the slang term anyway.
I was in Poland, and everyone warned you like not to talk to people because like the gypsies, like one person would talk to you, and the next person would pickpocket you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't. There are multiple places in Europe. Don't be very careful for groups of Eastern Europeans wandering in Rome. Be careful for them wandering in parts of London. Definitely be careful for them around the Eiffel Tower.
That's what I was
It's all
thinking,
over the place.
boss bitch. I didn't think potheads were junkies either, but then it dawned on me. I forgot that Ellen's a heroin addict, and more likely Connie is doing heroin too. So
No, dude, it doesn't matter what drug he's on. He has a junkie mentality. That's his mentality. He gets up in the morning and he tells everybody he's out of weed when you can hear him smoking it, so he can have enough to buy more. For him, it's not a this is my weekend smoke. I'm going to get done with it, and then maybe I'll get some on Thursday or Friday. It's I only have 2 days left, so I need a carton.
Yeah,
He's got a junkie mentality.
I think I hear a lot of people say that weed isn't addicting, but of course it is. It's every bit as addicting as a Dr. Pepper if you drink Dr. Pepper, or smokes if you smoke.
No, quick. I've smoked weed for years. I mean, dude, I would smoke a quarter pound in a month, easy.
Yeah, look at you now.
I know, right? Look at me now. And I quit cold turkey when my job started drug testing. I stopped, instantly stopped.
You didn't have any withdrawal symptoms.
No,
you didn't.
nothing.
You didn't urge
Absolutely
it. You didn't
nothing.
wake up in the morning and look for it at all.
Nope.
Yeah, well, I
Quick,
think the thing
that's-
about weed is you cannot get
because
physical
it came down-
addicted like with
it came down
alcohol and
to either
shit, but you
smoking
can,
weed or supporting
psychology.
my family.
And
But I think you're different than most. I
here's
think
the
that most people.
Quick, here's the distinction. Other drugs have a physical withdrawal. If you drink to the level that some people drink and stop cold turkey, you can die. You go into withdrawal, you get delirium tremens, it can kill you. If you just decide you're not going to do heroin anymore, you go through a withdrawal program. You get the sweats, you throw up, you don't eat, you don't sleep. Weed doesn't have a physical withdrawal syndrome, but for some people it
It
is
is
a
psychological.
It has
Yeah.
a mental withdrawal. Remember when Sweet went into the hospital and Joe couldn't get his weed for 3 days, and he was the biggest asshole anyone's ever fucking met?
He was
Joe
going to
Cool,
drive
the
to Maine.
nicest-
He's
Yeah,
going to drive to
yeah.
Maine and
I'm
smack
sorry.
emo.
I've
Yeah.
done a lot of drugs. I'm telling you now. I don't think anything's really that addictive. Now, when it comes to the alcohol stuff like that, yeah, your body will have withdrawals yourself. But
Alcohol,
as far
hold on.
as- as far
Alcohol
as-
and benzos are the only two withdrawals that can actually kill you. Anything
as far
else you can
as-
get through.
As far as waking up and wanting it, that's all mental.
Yeah,
The effects are pretty bad.
I've known a
Oh, man.
lot of people.
They're
who
bad,
smoke
but you're
weed
not going to
that-
die, Liz.
I know a lot of people who smoke weed, and when they don't have it, that they're not the
Yeah.
same. I mean, but
Right,
I'm saying,
it's a mental thing. It's not an addiction. It's a mindset adjustment. It's just
It is.
And it's
It's
also
just
why
even-
would you quit
I don't know
heroin,
how to
right?
explain it to you.
it's-
it's
I
the
was
same.
very lucky.
I understand.
I
I'm
would
just saying it's
chuckle.
the same as like Dr. Pepper. If people drink Dr. Pepper all the time and they stop drinking Dr. Pepper, you'll get headaches. You'll get
That's
You'll
not
get-
from the doctor. That's from the caffeine.
Excuse
Caffeine.
me, Quick Quiver. What are you saying about my Dr. Pepper?
or
I'm
whether
gonna
it's
put you
Mountain
on my
Dew
sun
Oh,
porch,
leave
Sonny.
Cindy
Or-
out of it.
or Dr. Diet Coke,
Okay. And now,
coffee.
we've been talking about the weed thing, and I'm glad we brought that up. And boss bitch, hey, potheads are junkies. I take offense to that.
Oh my God, anarchic chick, go piss up a flagpole and see how far you get. Fuck off.
I thought you guys were best friends again. What happened to the?
Fuck off.
They're-
You
they're
fuck off
dating.
too.
And let's
They're dating.
and look, Shelly is in here. She's in here, and I'm gonna say something. one day I was watching one of Shelley's panels, and she was
I'm
talking
sorry.
about how Connie's his drug is marijuana. Let me tell you something. And this is for Connie and for Shelley. Actually, medical marijuana doesn't work that way. It doesn't. To be able to live a full life utilizing medical cannabis, you're not just after the best high. You are after cumulative medical benefits after you have smoked. And it's not just about getting high. And that's all Connie cares about. He just cares about being high.
Didn't Shelley get her stomach pumped from THC? Isn't that what she said?
I think, I remember that. Something like that.
I'm just saying. I mean, I guess THC can be deadly. I guess we could be wrong.
I mean, I know people that's collected cans on the side of the road to take back to get enough money to go get weed.
She said that. Just saying.
Rick Crude collects cans.
For sure.
Like I said,
just saying,
Connie, weed is not your medicine. You're not using it as a medicine. It's not done anything to improve your life. It's just
nobody diagnosed you with, using
Diagnosed?
marijuana. I said it the second time.
Diagnose him.
I got it the second time. Oh, weasel.
Yeah.
Nobody's diagnosed Rebel with needing marijuana to function through his day-to-day life. It's on his head.
Nobody's diagnosed Rebel with shit because he won't go in and let himself be fucking diagnosed.
Well, you hear it. It's the attitude he's been pumped full of. CC, you remember the Lawless panel? You're with a social worker, aren't you?
Yep. yeah. Are they gonna buy me breakfast?
I have a question. Would you rather be stuck on a desert island with boss bitch that had weed or didn't have weed?
I could care less either way.
I don't know boss bitch like that.
Because if she stepped out of hand, I'd open my hand up and I'd say,
Swallow the shotgun.
I'm just making a guess that boss bitch with weed would be much funner than without.
He'd say, swallow a coconut and trip on the husk.
That's right.
I think Rebel, I can't say that all the times we've seen Rebel Spurg, he's been not high. I think he's been high for a lot of his fucking mental breakdowns online.
You know when he wasn't high? The one time he wasn't high was the night that he really, really lost it. When he called the police like 8 times and was screaming at the cops, and he told them to come to his house and then told them they weren't allowed to come to his house. That was when he said he was having a panic attack and he couldn't breathe and he needed weed. I need to smoke weed. I need weed.
Right.
I don't have any
But
weed. That's
when
the
he was-
times he's actually been out.
When he was getting money from Sweet.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Andrew.
I was just STL said Paige is his drug. I was just making sure it wasn't all the Facebook.
Yeah,
girls
so
he's
it's
trying to
alcohol.
hook up
That's
with.
what he's saying. It's like,
Wow.
if Paige is
All
your
right.
drug, then
I'm going to take a real quick break. Binks has asked that I introduce her new kitty baby to love.
Oh, look.
That's such an ugly cat.
you shut the
Your
fuck
face
up,
is
Andrew.
ugly, Andrew. You're fat.
This is, and I guess at the same time, I am going to be plugging El Sancho. This is Sadie Marie. This is Binks' new kitty baby.
Somebody
And
should plug El
tomorrow night-
Sancho with some PVC pipe and then get some.
You made him a plug.
Hey,
You made
hey,
him a
Bing,
butt plug, and you put his name on it, didn't you? There.
Yeah, and I offered to mail it to him, but he said he'd call the
did.
police.
Correct.
I said I'd mail it to him.
Do you
Binks, if you need a
realize
$3
that
bullet,
he
just let me
is
know. I'll
about
send you one.
15 years younger than you. He is going to dance on your fucking grave. I've told you this before.
Sancho?
He probably will. This is right.
Oh, I didn't know.
And then
Oh, I
okay,
didn't know
and
that.
okay.
No,
So I'm
that's
going to
right.
plug El Sancho. LG and Binks are going to be hosting a panel tomorrow night. At 7
I'll be there.
p.m. on El Sancho's channel.
Girls' night
Now,
only.
For everybody else who has ever owned cats, take a look at that cat's eyeballs and realize that that cat is about to wreck some shit. There is some serious off-the-curtain zoomies coming on right after that look.
I cannot confirm this, but I heard Aunt Tifa's going to be on that panel tomorrow.
Antifa?
And
Andrew's Antifa.
Aunt Tifa.
You didn't know that? You didn't know I'm Antifa?
Do you have an Antifa?
Yeah, I'm Antifa.
Wait, is there a triggering going on?
What? Where? Who?
What?
There it is.
What are you
Even
talking
though, wow.
What?
Never mind.
I'm so confused.
Now you can't do that. You can't.
I'm
do
sorry.
that.
Okay. I
If you
got a
didn't bring
link.
enough for the class, don't get the
Okay.
pizza out.
Rod is going live with @Hello Starlight is wrong again. Okay, I click in and we've got, who do we have on panel? True Finder, Christ Manson, Rick Crude, and who uses Squishy Cat.
Hey, sorry.
Okay, so I can already tell you what that's.
It's okay.
Sorry.
It's
This
a triggering.
this
He's
is
trying to
important.
trigger. It's
This is
good.
important. Barney Rebel.
If
I
I
know this
take a
isn't
link,
my-
it'll work.
I know this isn't
Give me a
my
minute.
channel, but can we leave, please, STL's kids and ex-wife out of it? Thank you.
Yeah,
What?
just stop it.
What?
Y'all don't know
what's
what actually
happening?
happened there. Quit it.
What's happening? Where?
I got
Where
it.
I
is
mean,
it?
that's,
Okay.
I hate when people do that.
And
Sorry
that,
for interrupting. I just felt that.
Andrew, it's one thing I've always respected about you is that you have, and I'm not kissing your ass, but it kind of sounds like I'm kissing your ass, so I'm gonna shut up. But you do have lines in the sand, and will go after your friends, even your friends, if they're crossing the line, and I respect that.
Yeah.
Don't respect it.
Yeah, it really irritates me when people drag either Paige or STL's families into their beef with Paige and STL. Their families had nothing to do with it. Leave them the fuck out of it. I know you think it's a cheap shot. Eventually, something's going to happen in your life, and you're not going to like it when people go at you about it.
Don't get me wrong. If you do it to me, I'll do it right back to you. Don't get that twisted. I'm just letting you know right now. I'm not above it, but I also don't like it.
No, I guarantee what Rod is dragging Starlight over the coals about is that Starlight said she picks up 200 likes after her stream's over, and he probably counted it and found out it's 197, so she's wrong. So there.
Jesus.
And
thing is,
Richard, I don't.
He puts it on no rewind now, so you can't even go back and watch that motherfucker.
Oh
Well,
my
he's
God,
not talking
we got
about
that.
him. He's talking about the shit show picking up 250 views after they've shut down.
No, I'm
So
saying
he's
what-
convinced. He's convinced they're buying views because I mean, who gives a shit? Who cares?
I'm telling you.
Nobody's getting rich here.
I'm saying when I leave this panel, if I go over there, a lot of times I like to go to the beginning and run it at like 4 times speed to figure out what's going on. And you can't because he puts it on no rewind. So you have to go in blind to what's going on. I fucking hate that.
And Richard Cheese, I don't use my wrench. I'm a firm believer in free speech. Okay.
The only reason Andrew has a wrench is so Harry can't time him out. That's the only reason Andrew has a wrench.
That's right.
Oh Lord.
He's addicted to the wrench.
Is that what
and
this was
I was
about?
gonna
Is-
report-
was this about ancient shit with Harry?
No, I just really wanted to say I have a wrench over here. That's the only reason I wanted a wrench. Yeah, I don't use them, lads. I'm a firm believer in free speech. I might not like what you say. I'm a firm believer in free speech, unless you're on my channel, and then I just do it to be a dickhead. But everybody else's channel, I won't use it.
Andrew, do you time out all Cobra Kai members or just the leader, Harry Balls?
Just the leader. Wait, his leader is Harry
Lord.
Balls, Cobra Kai?
Oh, that is so 2.5 years ago.
Stop
That
bringing
was
shit
a long
up
time
quick.
ago.
Jesus Christ.
All right. Well, this was fun.
No, it wasn't.
Well,
Yeah, because
I
you're
like-
up there, corrosive.
well, it is getting towards 9 o'clock where I am, and I do have to be up at 5 a.m. tomorrow.
So I think we all agree that we should be donating to Rebel on the regular, and then he doesn't have to e-bag. Right? That's what we came up with.
Apology is who?
I think a trust fund is needed. That's
I think it,
Wait. Who's El Sancho apologizing to?
Oh, who fucking cares?
Wait, is he doing an apology load?
why do
Probably
you?
somebody. It's probably somebody he almost drowned by crying on them.
Oh, why do you not like El Sancho now? I thought you guys made up at one point.
Who?
Krosov. I thought Krosov and
Oh.
El Sancho had made up at one point.
Oh, we kind of had a tenuous truce, but 2 days later, when he felt put upon, he had to bring up every single thing he imagines that I've ever done with him, and he brings it all up and lays it out. He goes, "But it's not like I bring stuff up or anything." I'm like, okay,
Sancho-
I don't fucking care.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what. God, even I can get along with El Sancho.
I just want to know what he's apologizing to. Or is it an apology load, or what are we doing exactly here?
Oh God, who knows?
I'm sorry, Christina.
So, wait, is it going to be, I'm sorry, corrosive?
If
It better well fucking not be. If he
Yeah,
does that
every-
shit, I will hand deliver that thing that I made for him, and I'll install it.
Look, I like El
Person has
Sancho. I
had
mean,
problems with women around here. He doesn't need men being psycho too.
Crosov, I think what you need is, I think if you have a 2-hour conversation at 2:00 in the morning on Valentine's Day with El Sancho, then you won't have any more problems with him, because that's what I did.
I'm sorry.
No, he called me. It's like 2:00 in the morning. I'm like, hello?
Oh my God! See, this is why
El Sancho has told me deep down he really likes you.
this is why nobody here has my phone number, and nobody ever will have my
No, it
phone
was
number.
he didn't call my phone. He
Shelley
called
gave it to all of us.
Discord. It was a Discord.
Shelly's
call.
never had my phone number, dude.
It was
That was
actually
my-
it was a Discord call. It was actually a really good conversation.
That was my greatest mistake. Also, like adding John Golf as a friend in Discord. 4
Oh,
o'clock at
yeah.
night.
Yeah,
It's like
Bones, I don't know if I'll come to
ding.
that.
Andrew, don't you think if I had given anyone in this community my phone number by this point, somebody would have fucking linked
Everyone would have it.
I
yeah.
have your phone number.
it? No, you don't.
Okay.
Your
Look,
phone's
look,
gonna start ringing
you're
any
gonna start getting
second.
private phone calls now. Watch.
I think here's what I think. Experiment, Elizabeth K, and I know you're going to agree with this, but everyone who's in Richard Cheese's chat watching a replay of or a live replay of Rebel City, just donate $5 to him. Like,
Dude,
Fuck
Richard
you.
Cheese, yes. I think you should donate $5 to Richard Cheese. Absolutely.
You remember when I
Cheese
was
for $5.
okay? All right. The trolls of Quick River are your mileage may vary.
I think,
Oh my God! I just got a phone call on a restricted line. What the hell?
You liar.
I think if you guys in this the guys and girls in this community would just pay Todd or
All right, Brett,
Rebel
I will humor
Richard
a
you.
livable wage, that he wouldn't be complaining all the time. That's all I'm saying.
Brett only wants a wrench so he can time out STL. Don't
I
fucking
tell
give it
you
to
what,
him.
Quick River, you give Connie half of your wages and we'll call it
Oh
good.
Lord! Oh man!
Yeah?
Okay.
He wouldn't know what to do with all that. I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah,
I
he
mean-
would. He doesn't
Yeah, he would.
have
He'd buy weed.
I was kidding. I was joking.
He wouldn't fix his car. He wouldn't pay his back rent. He wouldn't help his mom. He'd spend weed. Well, I guess he spends weed on his mom, maybe. He pinches her sack, though. We got that on video, too.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
ladies and gentlemen,
my
that was a
God.
nice conversation, and I the way my bank accounts are set up, so I have to make some phone calls to get Rebel that money. So
Have you seen that? Have you seen that Rebel hides his extra weed? That's why he's got so many empty weed containers around. He hides his extra weed. I think his mom steals it from him too. I think that goes both
You
ways.
think they're
I
stealing
really
it from
do.
each other?
Yeah, I
have
think
a
they
good
are.
one.
I think they are.
Well, we know for a fact he pinches his mom's sack. We watched that
Just-
happen.
Yeah, but he was and listening to fucking Roz Spurg about that is one of the funniest things ever. Just sits in every 10 seconds. But you bitch, your mother's sack, Rebel boy. But yeah, the one day he was going, he has a whole stack of empty weed containers on top of his refrigerator, and he was going through them one by one until he found the one that he had hidden in there with his weed in it, and then he went back to his room and got high.
I didn't miss that. That's great.
God.
Wait, are you sure it was his? Or are you sure you think his mom hid her weed from him and he found
Oh no, it was his. It was his. Hers goes
Okay.
right into her room and fucking stays there.
Okay. That's funny.
I mean, I wanted to thank everybody for coming up tonight. I'm not ever going to give Connie a dime. Never have, never will. Sorry, Quick.
I think we've settled everything. I think we have everything figured out now.
Are you Quick River, in the future, are you going to reference everything to me?
No, and if you felt it was that way, I apologize because I didn't mean.
Oh
it
man, I
that
don't
way.
mind you doing it. I think it's kind of funny.
I think to reference you, I think that at one point people would have thought you leaving the community would fix everything, but when you left and started doing other things, holy shit, it went to hell in
It
a
did.
hurry.
It went to hell in a handbasket, didn't it?
I
Got a
think
lot
you
worse.
were.
It's power
you were the-
vacuum, sir.
That's because I was the one doing the heinous shit. When I walked away, everybody decided, because there's some, like, I don't care what anybody says. I mean, a lot of people have seen them. A lot of people say there's a lot of channels out there that try to mimic the things I've done. And you got some people saying, I'm the new sheriff in town, or this is the new drama dome. Dude, but all they do is just plunder. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think it's funny how much you get blamed for. Like, I didn't see you live for like a month, and you were still getting blamed for everything.
Yeah, I could be gone for 5 years to be getting blamed for things. But you have to understand, once again, I've done a lot of things.
How did you not get number one on Emo's list? Were you
I was
pissed?
number one. I was number one years ago.
You were like number 3, weren't you?
Yeah, I was 3. Yeah, I was 3.
I couldn't
Years
believe
ago,
it.
I was number 1, but I don't fuck with him that much anymore. There are people still fucking with him hard.
Yeah.
Especially the UK trolls are fucking with him pretty hard still.
Yeah.
No, Richard Cheese, I'm done doing panels. I don't want to host panels. I don't. This is not. I'm not into it no more.
Anybody
I'm
have
on
any
Elizabeth K.
final-
I'm handing the torch to Elizabeth K.
Elizabeth K is desperately trying to leave.
She
Okay,
is.
so
She's
Liz,
the new drama dome.
Now
Is
you
it
are the
any-
drama
any-
dome.
Don't disappoint me.
Any thoughts before we
I will
end?
hook you up with a voice changer and a snap cam so you can be Winky, Liz.
Oh Jesus. On that note, Elizabeth, thanks for having me up. I'll see y'all later.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Andrew.
Hashtag pay Rebel a livable wage. See you later.
Ha ha ha.
Hashtag Quick Quiver has obviously been hit in the head heavily while he was away. Don't listen to him. Don't give Rebel shit. Bye.
Okay. The mental illness aspect of what has been going on with Connie it's been important to me, and it's always going to be important to me. And yeah, I've been offended and triggered by it. But the truth is, Connie, Costa, let's call you Costa. I'm not going to call you Rebel. You're not a rebel. Costa, nothing good is going to come to you. Nothing positive is going to come to you. Nothing real is going to happen for you until you take account of your life and you make real changes. And sometimes that's hard. Dear God, one of the hardest things I ever had to face was realizing I didn't belong in a profession. And I had to make changes. Everybody take care, and thanks for coming.